Hi, everyone. I think we're live now. 8:30, January 9, 2025. Hello, everyone.
We're
How are you
back.
guys doing?
What's up?
Hi,
What's
hi.
up, everyone?
I don't know. I don't know if that's just me, but I think you're breaking up, Juan, because obviously it couldn't go perfectly right now. Do you guys have a good connection?
Yeah, mine's good.
Mine's fine.
Okay. Okay, it's
No,
maybe
mine
something
is-
from my end. Sorry.
Mine is glitching as well, to be honest. I'm
Oh.
seeing you guys glitch. So maybe it's me or maybe it's just temporarily. That's possible as well.
It's
How
good
is
now.
it now? Now it's good?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think even our systems are a little bit rusty, after 6 months. So let's see how it goes.
Let's put
Peer,
it in motion.
welcome. The Rainbow Kabir, welcome. You guys,
Welcome.
It's been a while. It's been a while. A lot of comments coming in. Hi guys. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining as well. It's going to be a very long session. First of all, I'm going to explain a little bit the format to our viewers so they understand what we're doing tonight, and then we'll move just quickly to the subjects because there is a lot to discuss. We're looking back a little bit. We'll discuss the January window a little bit. We have Pierre Yadorenko, a little bit experts also on the academy and the youth. So we'll talk about that as well today. So the format is basically quite simple. We have a first half and second half. The first half, you guys are in it. We'll talk until maybe 9:45, something like that. And then the second group comes in, and we'll talk with those bunch about other topics as well, which are Ajax related. I also want to stress, of course, to our viewers, any questions you guys have halfway point or right now, just drop them. I will try to ask our panels as much as possible. But again, we're very concise in terms of time, so I cannot do everything, but I will try. I will do my best. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. It's 9th of January. I don't know if we are supposed to say that, but I'm saying that. Let me start by asking, first of all, we've been away for 6 months. Per, I see you grew your hair. That's good. But what else have you been up to these last 6 months?
Honestly, how would you say that? It was quite a busy couple of months. I started a new job in September at KPMG as a business process consultant. So I've been very busy with that. And just recently, start of January, we moved house. So I now live in The Hague, dead set in the center, which is quite fun. And I'm really enjoying it, but it has been a lot of work. Still obviously watching Ajax. I mean, we can't stop doing that.
So while you're recording with us right now, you're in the middle of moving, basically. You still are moving your...
Yeah, I have boxes everywhere.
All right, perfect. Thomas, how about you?
So Per's been growing his hair. I have been growing my tummy. I have been pretty active on the job market as well. I mean, I didn't change my employer, but I moved from technical support to account manager. So a lot of new experiences and a lot of new things, a lot of breaking things, but moving into a right direction, which finally reflects a certain Dutch team we all support, which it looks a bit similar. Other than that, I'm as smart and as handsome as always, so not much else has changed.
Actually, I have a comment right here, and it fits right now to put this up. So why is Thomas looking like he's going to do the outro of Looney Tunes? That's all, folks.
Because he is.
This is this is a full stop. This is the end of the dreaded previous times, and this is a mark of a new beginning for us.
Happy times.
So this is very symbolic, and it has a very deep meaning.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I don't think we ever touched upon it on the stream ever, but I'm going to say it. I hope you don't get mad at me for saying this, but for people that don't know, you're actually quite a superstar in Poland. You have your own TikTok channel. You do your, like social media content on football, Ajax, but also Madrid. Am I correct on this?
Especially on the superstar
especially on the superstar, right? Exactly. All right.
I spent most of my free time, to my wife's delight, obviously, doing like football content on the internet. It makes me not annoy my non-football interested friends, not engage in soccer talk or football, because I can do it on my channel, and I have a small but quite a dedicated society. So I really enjoy that. But let's
Very
move.
good. Very good. And it's going well? It's going well as well?
Good enough. It makes me,
Good enough.
it makes me happy.
Good, good. Kabir, so
Yo.
your story, quick, in a
First and
nutshell.
foremost, Happy New Year, everyone. It's so
Yeah,
amazing
bro.
to be back. Welcome to the viewers, to the subscribers. It's so amazing to be back with you guys. The band is back together. It's like the reunion of the Backstreet Boys. Yeah, but maybe we don't have as much talent with them in singing, and maybe we're not as good looking. But no. That's just me. The rest of you guys are handsome as hell. But anyway.
Thank you.
What I wanted to say is that what's been going on with me? Well, I've been getting a lot more joy watching Ajax play, certainly from the results perspective. We'll touch upon that, I'm sure, in a bit about the Ajax play perspective. But as they say in Dutch, I take the burger moed. So a lot to get stuck into, and I'm just happy to be back.
So look, just for the people that were concerned, you were on our stream for quite some time, a little bit on a regular basis. Then you said something about Solskjaer might be a good coach, and then you disappeared. People thought we did something to you.
How are you gonna hold me to that? You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I dug my own grave with that, but I will always defend myself by saying someone like Ole Gunnar.
I know. I'm just pulling your leg. You know that. It's going to be a bit of a fun show as well.
It's 1-0 after the Maurice Stein vision. So I get it.
Yeah. So talking about Maurice
I was
Stein,
hoping we were not going to mention the name, but yeah, thanks.
No,
it's like Harry Potter, he who shall not be named. He's like Lord Voldemort.
Look, in all honesty about Maurice Stein, we still have it for you, Kabir. Here we go.
You put it on record right now. Here, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't last until the winter break. To be honest with you, I would not be surprised. Look, I want to be pleasantly surprised, but I'm putting my neck on the line here right now, and I'm saying I don't think he'll last till the winter break.
Here we go. So
Thank you so much.
here we go. We have evidence. We have evidence right now for you.
And that was in June. Wow.
Yeah,
That was in June, exactly. Moving to Yadarenko, last but not least, certainly not least. Yadarenko, I suppose the last half year you were watching a lot of youth football, correct?
Correct.
No, I'm joking. How are you? How are you doing? What have you been up to, actually?
I'm good. Thanks. New year, new chances, and I've been progressing with the startup. So that's basically it.
Exactly. All right. So, guys, before we dive right in, there are a lot of questions from our guests coming into. Are you guys coming for good, or is this a one-time thing? I don't want to kill the mood right now, but it's a one-time thing for now. We don't have any plans to continue. So this is really something that we just came up with like a month ago to just do a reunion, and everybody was up for it, and we just said, okay, let's do it. So I'm not closing the door entirely, but it's going to be a difficult ask to come back as it was before. So as it stands right now, we're not coming back. So I just want to make it clear. I don't want to give you guys false hope. So just to be clear on this. Putting that aside, we're going to start talking about Ajax. Look, I'm going to start with the basics. Let's start with the basics. And let me ask the first question to Kabir. Kabir, you said you were very happy with Ajax. If you look back at those 6 months, we saw the first half of the season. What are the things that stood out for you positively, but maybe also some things that you think like, okay, maybe we still have to work on this, just in general?
Look, there are obviously two camps of Ajax fans, right? They're the ones that have the sort of romantic notion, rightfully so, wrongfully so, whichever way you look at it. I'm not there to judge that, but it's the whole, we are Ajax, we stand for a certain style of play, we stand for flair, we stand for youth, we stand for all of that, which is amazing because there aren't very many clubs in world football that can lay claim to having an identity or having had such a massive impact on world football or their own domestic league. And we can lay claim to having that. But I think in terms of, if you were to ask me these last 6 months, I think it's been a revelation. I think that, Farioli is clearly the right man in the right place. Of course, it hasn't necessarily gone hand in hand with the type of football that we would want to see. But, from a results perspective, I think no one should complain or can complain. Of course, you can, technically speaking, but I think if we compare to what we've been used to since Erik ten Hag left, I think that we're on the right path. We also need to understand where we're coming from. We're coming from very far, and I think that we're only sort of going in one direction, and a positive direction. So it's only been 6 months. There's a lot of talk, which I'm sure we'll touch upon with, the whole sort of rotation policy and the players that we have, et cetera. But I think, as a sort of a summary on it, I think that we should all be positively looking at where we are now compared to what we've been used to these past couple of years.
Yeah, understood. Per, I'm going with you. I was scrolling through your timeline a couple of days ago, and I saw something that I thought, is this Per? This cannot be Per. I thought your account was hacked, but you said something after watching a certain game. I have to be specific. It was like 2 months ago or 3 months ago in October, I think. You tweeted like, "Get me Ron Jans. I don't want to see this anymore." Just paraphrasing here, but something like that, along those lines. Do you still stand by those words?
The point I'm trying to make there is that I care about attacking football. I care about high press, quick transitions. And I haven't seen that in the last couple of games before the winter break. Obviously, we're doing much better than we did last year. But we would have done with any coach, with any squad. Last year was just that bad. And this year, I just wanted to feel excited again. And it hasn't really happened. Like, other than that one game against PSV, I don't think we've really showed attacking football. So based on that, I really am impressed with what Ron Jans has done to Utrecht. He was great at Twente. He was great at PEC. I think he's a very underrated manager.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to go to Ajax.
Oh, I don't think he will. It's just
No, he
figure of
doesn't want.
speech, of course. No, I mean, I don't think he will. Is what I said.
Per, I just want to ask you a follow-up question on this. So, is this something? Did you factor in the squad that we have, the imbalances that we have in the squad, the fact that Farioli is trying to focus on the defensive and the build-up play, trying to be more in control, taking into account also the players that we have, because we don't. I mean, let's be honest, this is more or less the same players as last year.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Cruz has done an abysmal job getting us, wingers mostly, which it just hasn't happened. So it's not all Farioli's fault. But if you see what Ron Jans had to work with at Utrecht after they had also had a disaster of a year, I feel like he did pretty well. And he's still playing somewhat attacking football and still somewhat pressing high. And especially the last couple of weeks, the press has just looked off. Like, the timing wasn't right. We weren't constantly pressing. It was very sporadically. And it's just something I don't really like.
Understood. All right. I'm going to Yadorenko. Yadorenko, which camp are you with? Are you with Kabir or are you with Pierre? Or are you in the middle?
For once, I'm a bit in the middle, but to be honest, it has been an in the middle kind of half a season. I think the first part was really, really great. We struggled in the beginning, and you saw that they actually did something on the pitch on the training day. You saw automatisms.
Yeah.
That's not the right word in English. That's
I know what you mean.
Basically.
Yeah.
You could see those on the pitch gradually more and more. The game against Feyenoord and also in the Europa League, there were some games that really gave some hope. The game against Feyenoord was just a result game, but the game against PSV was what we wanted to see all along. And the big disappointment for me is that we worked towards that. So Farioli was building something towards the big games, and in the biggest game of the first half of the season, we played the best, basically.
Yeah.
We played good football against the best team They didn't really have an off day. So it was magic. And then the international break came and everything went away. It was like it was never there. It's so strange. The effort, the intention, the intensity, everything was like, we've done it. We don't need to. We're going to win with 5-10-0, no problem. Which obviously was the wrong attitude. And maybe it was not the attitude, but it was what I saw on the pitch the last games. And there was no real recovery in the game.
Yeah.
There was not really.
We looked most of the times towards the end of the first half year. We looked a little bit flat, also in terms of energy, but also in terms of how we played. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
And for me, the biggest problem was the intention. I heard a recent quote, not a recent quote, but I recently heard a quote of Cruyff back in the days, and he said, the only thing you can get out of football is the energy you put in. If you don't put energy in, you're not gonna get anything back. Doesn't matter how talented you are or how good of a player you are. You have to put shit in.
Exactly. I actually am familiar with that quote. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm going quickly to Thomas, then I'm going to the comments because people are reacting to what you guys are saying. So maybe you can react, and then we'll go to Farioli specifically. Thomas, your opinion about the first half year in terms of how Ajax has been performing.
Okay, so I believe that Ajax this season and last season was like the Joker. But last year, I would say, use the quote, all I have is negative thoughts. And this season is a bit schizophrenic, I would say, right? Because we're bouncing off with positives and negatives. What I mean is I'm extremely happy with development of certain players, unexpected development of certain players, which is showing how incompetent some people that we have hired in the past were. Let's put it that way. Also, I'm happy to see something like let's say an identity. I'm not very happy at times with what we do, but you can clearly see an idea behind the entire team, the intent of playing a certain way. So that's something. So we actually look like a team. Also, it really helps to have the the comparison right between the last season and this season. So I have some joy from watching Ajax. I look forward to the games, which is something I have sorely missed last season. So there's that. But on the other hand, I feel like we're at a point where I'm getting fed up with hearing result is king, and that's all we should look for, and we should accept everything because we have a small squad, we lack quality, and so on and so on. Because I really appreciate the work that's been done. I love our account manager. I love how he handles the media as well, which is a nice change as well. Still, I think we want. I don't know if we want to, but we overlook some flaws that are clearly visible. I appreciate the manager and I acknowledge that he knows football better than me. Still, I frequently do not understand his decisions, right? Especially with squad selection. So it's a mixed bag. Overall, it's good. Overall, it's positive because look at the table, look at the results, look at the fact that we got to smile a bit for a change, right? But it's not been all fun and games. So nice start, but I hope that we do not get too comfy with just the results because this is something we should not get comfortable with.
Yeah, understood. We'll continue on this topic in a bit. Just let me go through the comments just quickly, from this perspective, so this point. Let me see. People are reacting to what you guys said. So Casilla is saying Cruz is definitely more to blame than Farioli. Matthias is saying more goals, less conceding, and with this squad, and you still want Ron Jans. Weird take, Pierre. somebody's not agreeing with you. Kans is saying at Utrecht there's no pressure like Ajax, which is true.
What about Kans's comment saying that we've all got bad hair days except for Thomas? I think that's pretty.
Yeah, I'm just coming to that. Just give me a minute. Arco Fokker saying finally they're back, and then he's saying, and all with bad hair day exactly, except for Thomas. So Thomas, here you go. You got a compliment.
That feels weird. I'm not used to this. Thank you.
Julian is saying, if I remember correctly, we had a pretty high press in preseason. I guess Farioli decided that this not fit the squad. You're nodding, Pierre. Do you agree with that?
I agree. I mean, the press has completely disappeared, whereas we did start off trying to press high.
Yeah, okay. Ziggy is saying, the problem is that you play with a lot of youth players who have dips here and there in terms of form, which is logical. But if you look at players like Gods, Fitz, Jim, and Baas, we are doing the max, so the most we can, basically. That's what he's saying. Damien is saying, Ravioli, the pizza bakker, can't play the way he wants because of the depth of the squad. So that's also a reasonable argument, if I'm honest about this. All right, here we go. Yeah, okay, so this is it about what we just spoke about. I want to touch a little bit more about Farioli. Look, it's very difficult, right? Because, of course, we have certain expectations. And it's funny because I remember Kenneth Perez, a pundit and ESPN, said a few weeks ago, actually in the old year, 2024, he was saying that the fans, the Ajax fans in general, or the public, they have accepted a new realism of Ajax, that we accept more results. We don't demand the adventurous, the attacking football anymore because we understand the situation in which we're in. So we are happier than before, than in the history of Ajax, to accept what we're experiencing this season. Do you guys agree with that comment? Or are you guys different than what he's saying? No, you guys have still those high standards, and we have to get there soon.
I think he's right. I think he's right, but it will change very quickly.
Okay. All right. So you agree as well, Thomas?
I mean, it's no quantum physics, right? After a season like last season, obviously, you have the bar lower for the actual football, and you want to regain the actual Champions League spot, and so on and so on. You hear all about the financial issues and so on and so on. So you want to get the results as a foundation of everything else to build upon. So that's obvious. And also we're Ajax, so the complaints about the quality of football are going to be they're going to be universal in 2 months at most, I guess. Like the majority of Ajax fans are going to be unhappy on a bigger scale, I guess. That's
because my follow-up question would be, when can we start expecting more? Is it
not now?
Exactly. So do we give like Kabir? Do we give a pass this whole season?
Of course, you give a pass because we need to understand and appreciate where we've come from. I would much rather be in this situation and see a manager that has an ideology and a clear vision with results, as opposed to a Robin van Persie at Heerenveen trying to play one way. And look, I think that 6 months after his appointment, sitting here today, I would rather be second in the league and still in with a shout in the Europa League with this kind of football versus languishing, and we played the odd good game here or there.
I understand. Okay, hold on. Kabir, I understand, but what is for you the cutoff point? So let me explain. What is the cutoff point? Is it the period, or is it whenever Cruz? Because we're going to touch upon Cruz in a bit as well. Whenever Cruz starts recruiting players and balancing the squad, whenever
we can unanimously agree that Farioli has a squad available to him that will allow us to play the way that we should be playing. Because I think that no matter what camp any Ajax supporter is in, we're all in agreement that the squad is imbalanced, that it still has players that are not for the requisite quality. So, there's a saying, a bad workman always complains about his tools. Well, Farioli's got bad tools, largely speaking, but he's actually still delivering. So, I'm in a very pro sort of, I'm looking at with the glass half full as opposed to half empty.
Mm-hmm. Thomas, go ahead.
I get that, but I feel like it's there's like 2 points of view here, because it's not like me expecting us to play like 18-19 right away. No, it's a matter of where are we going game by game? What progress are we making? Because you could argue that the last couple of weeks before the break, we started to get worse and worse and worse. And this is the point, right? Because I don't have like gigantic expectations. I just want us to improve game by game. And I have my doubts. Actually, right after the PSV game, it went downhill. And that's my issue here, right?
But that progress isn't linear. In any walk of life, progress doesn't go like that. Progress will go like
this was a cliff into the Mariana Trench. Come on.
That's part of the process. That actually.
No, that's not part of the process.
That shows
the process is that you dive a little bit, but not.
The point I'm trying to make is this shows us and reminds us where we're coming from. But we've experienced more this than this. So that's a reminder. Actually, guys, look where we're actually coming from, because it could quite easily have been this.
But Kabir, the thing where I have a problem is that there's one thing, and that's intention. So the way you want to play, the way you want to win a game.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do. No, but it has nothing to do with the quality of players you have, the talent they have, how experienced they are, how much money is in the bank. Nothing. No, you can always try to play forward, to press. You can always put energy into it.
Yeah, no, you can.
Those two things are like gone.
Farioli is, if you watched the way his team played in France, you wouldn't be as surprised with how we're playing now. Look, there's two aspects to this in my mind. Firstly, he's come and got his dream job. Now, he obviously wants to ensure that he's protecting himself, and the best way to do that is to get results. Secondly, he's a disciple of Roberto De Zerbi, and I watched a very interesting clip a couple of weeks ago where De Zerbi was talking about his vision and style of play, and he was saying he hates gambling. He doesn't like gambling, and he goes, when he sets his team out to play, he wants surety. He wants to ensure that he's not gambling, because he goes, why play?
Absolute BS. And I can give you one example. PSV at home. Why would you play that way if you never gamble? Because that was pressing. That was how we want to like to see it. And it's like shooting on goal. If you shoot 20 times on goal, you have a big chance 1 or 2 go in.
Were we expected to win?
Same thing with the approach towards the game, with intention. So how do you want to approach the game? And intensity. If you do that all the time, you're not going to win every game. You're not going to play magically every game well, but at least you're going to increase it, and you're going to increase your chances on it.
Look,
from the point that I'm trying to make is that no one expected us.
Kabir, just one.
No
moment.
one expected us to see.
Just one moment. I will let you guys talk in a bit, just quickly, because I want to say something and I want to go through the comments, because people are reacting at the things that you're saying. So I have to go through them as well. Otherwise, it will be too late to watch back. One thing I've been reading here and there from the media, but also from other podcasts, etc., is that apparently Farioli is given full support from the Ajax staff, board, etc., to get the results in. They're not so much pushing Farioli to play the Ajax football at the moment, because they understand the situation in which we're in. Of course, this will change after a while, because we're Ajax and we have to show how Ajax plays football, and that's what we want. But for now, it seems like we have accepted, not only we as fans, as I said, the new realism, which I quoted from Kenneth Perez, but also within Ajax, it seems like they are okay with what's happening right now.
But you would be, like, as a football club, as a commercial enterprise, the main aim is to get a Champions League spot. The reason we were in such a bad situation was because we weren't getting the results. Results are the only thing that counts for me this season. and you can beat Farioli with the stick in the next couple of years if the football isn't how you want it to be, but only when he's got the requisite personnel, which he doesn't have. Right now, it's about win, 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 win. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. And that's what we're doing. We have to be patient. We know where we were the last year or 2 years, but we're getting results now. And we've got someone with a vision. It's always going to be like this, but at the end of the ride, if we can be where we need to be, A-okay for me.
All right, let me go quickly to a couple of comments, and then I will go to you, Per. I have a question for you. Gary, welcome, Gary. Welcome back, chaps. Good to see everyone. I'm happy Ajax fan at the moment. Positives finally outweigh the negatives. Amazing results, especially away to Feyenoord and then a PSV game back-to-back. We have reason to smile again. And then he's also saying away form in the league worries me still. We have a motivation issue. I feel away in the league, especially against lower teams. Kans is saying next season we can expect more. So he agrees to this season just accepting as we are doing right now, as long as the results come in. Matthias is saying, look, it depends on the transfer windows. This squad is not Ajax worthy, especially with the wages, etc. right now. Valid point. Simap is very impressed by Kabir. He's on point. Jesus Christ. All right. Casillas say it takes time. Look where we came from. Champions League money is vital. If we can obtain that, we can move towards better players and more attractive football in the upcoming years. So a lot of people, pulling that argument, which is also understandable, of course. Nickname is saying, you guys forget that we've been playing high-stakes games since June with the Europa League qualification. So we've played a lot of games. That's true. And also Farioli has stressed that a couple of times as well. Let's see. What else do we have? Damien is saying Kabir doesn't belong on weTalk Ajax. He talks sense. Tonio is saying be happy for the moment. AFC NSF is saying intentions doesn't win points.
But that wasn't what I was saying.
No, I know. Just one moment. Let me finish the comments quickly. 100% with Kabir on this one from Brian. Clear. AFCA is saying pressing with this squad is suicide. Maybe you can react to that in a bit, Yadorenko. Simap is saying suicide squad. Nice one. Everybody's saying, look, we can play naive football, all guns blazing, and fall back to 5th place. Want to help us in the long run. It won't help us in the long run. So, a lot of comments on this, basically. And I'm just checking if there's anything else here. No, I think... just maybe this one. Jim Beam is saying, what other choice does Ajax board have but to give Farioli all the confidence? They can't afford another misser. Yeah, that's true as well. Look, Yadorenko, I will give you just a moment to react to the comment that was made about the pressing. Maybe it's suicide. Maybe because you guys already mentioned we started the season with the high press, etc., and that faded away a little bit. Maybe it's also stamina or match fitness, or we don't know, but they're saying with this squad, it's also sometimes suicide to do that. We cannot expect these from these players or the squad that we have. What's your reaction to that?
I've never said that you... I like the high press.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
But I never said you have to play high press all the time. What I'm saying is that the intention, the game plan, so what do you want to do if you don't have the ball? What do you want to do if you do have the ball? Those two things are aside your fitness, your ability. That's what you want.
Okay, but Yadorenko, hold on.
But if you look at the last few games, and that was also a little bit in the beginning, and especially against lower teams and more defending teams, is that they play the ball around like under de Boer, on the Frank de Boer.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just no excuse. There's no excuse for that. That's purposeful how you do that. That has nothing to do with the quality of the squad, etc., etc. And yes, there is. We're going to come on cruise later. It is. It's not a shitty selection, but it's a selection that touched our lowest point, basically. So it's not comparable to 2018-19 in no way.
Okay.
I agree with that, and I can live with terrible games, not great games. You have to adjust to the moment and to the game.
Yeah.
However, that's an entire different discussion as what do you want to do, where do you want to grow to, and what are you going to show on the pitch, like the energy you put in.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I noticed is that the energy is also not with the boys that are fit and are not playing, are second or third place players. They're also not putting in the energy. So it cannot be their fitness solely, in my opinion.
Maybe it's quality then. Because look, I want to say a couple of things, and everybody can jump in here because I don't want to keep it only to Yadorenko, so everybody can react to different things. I'm going to throw a couple of things right now. First of all, Yadorenko, you said, and I wanted to react to that, you said, look, I want to know the intention when we have the ball and we don't have the ball, right? I think that's pretty clear, actually, with the Farioli, in my opinion. Because when we have the ball, it's very clear, the build-up from the back, it's completely visible what he's trying to do, you know? And also when we don't have the ball, it's completely visible what he wants to do. He basically, most of the time, because we're not pressing anymore like before, now, like in the recent games, and that's something I also mentioned to you guys, we're going back to our own 16 yard, you know, and then we're staying there and defending. Every time that there is a counter or somebody from the opposition, we try to defend by going a little bit back and sitting deep a little bit. It's something that's not Ajax-like, especially in the Eredivisie, and that's something I don't like either. I'll be honest about that. But that's the style of Farioli. So you cannot say you can disagree with the tactic. You can disagree with the fact that this is not really Ajax-like. That I will understand. But I don't think you can say that it's not clear what he wants to do.
But I can even imagine.
Just 1 minute, because I want to throw a couple of things, and then people can react.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one. The second thing is very interesting. I was watching, so I missed actually watching the Christmas special of the Pantelich podcast, but I checked it back. And Marijn Beuker was one of the guests there, and he said something very interesting. He said that in his philosophy, the defensive structure is something that the coach has most impact and can influence mostly. This is something that he has a direct influence. If you're a good coach, you can cause a defensive structure and you can make it work. In terms of attacking, he said that it depends on the quality of the players. So
I
whether
agree, but it's also difficult.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, it does. It does. Sorry, but it does depend on the quality, but it also depends on what you do in the training, what you do in games, and how you approach that and how you progress that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not all quality. Look at Leicester City. Could have they been Premier League winner? No way in hell. Look at Greece. Are you going to tell me Greece in 2004 had quality players? Top quality? No.
But the way they won that Euros was based solely on defensive style.
Exactly.
There was no attacking player whatsoever.
That doesn't matter. They played defensive and they played always the same game and game plan, and they played to their qualities.
Okay, but Jai, what are you saying basically right now? Because
then you're answering your own question. You're answering your own thing. And with this squad,
No. The first thing what I said was this how it went, and then it went down, and now we're here again. So it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't.
Can I just
there was
try to add something to defend Yadorenko's position?
Yeah, sure.
I really don't like the stigma that results are obviously everything, right? We really care about the results, but for some reason, people are acting like the only way to get results is by playing defensive football. And every single team can play a high press. Every single team. It's not hard to run after the ball when you are supposed to run after the ball. Like, you don't need to touch the ball. You only need to take it from them. And from there, you can start on playing football the way you want. It has nothing to do with how good the players are. It's just the instructions and whether you can follow them. So that's quite frustrating.
Let the ball do the work.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So, of course, based on that, it's quite unfortunate, I think. And I think especially from an Ajax standpoint, I think where we want to go is this place where we play Ajax football with a high press, beautiful football that we all love to see. And I think what worries us, at least me and probably Jai, and I think a lot of fans as well, is that as long as we're playing defensive football, are we really making progress towards playing attractive Ajax football again?
Okay. Thomas, Kabir, anything to add?
I'll let Thomas speak, but my 2 cents on that is that I think, yes, I think there will come a point in time where we will be playing the way we want to play. But once we have a good season behind us by way of results, and you're talking about Frank de Boer football, right? Yes, it was boring, but it got us to a point where we were financially healthy and we were able to build from that. If we're not playing Farioli, if we're not getting the results that we're getting this season, we wouldn't even be in with a shout for Champions League football and getting other income in. And it's about pragmatism. For these 12 months, it's about pragmatism. And then this time next year, we can have a chat about why aren't we playing this way? Why aren't we? But for now, it's results and pragmatism.
Okay, so the point here is that we're on a course to on the road to get the Champions League qualification, right? And the question is whether the road we're going with is the only one that will get us there, or if we can speed up a bit, risk getting off-road and crashed, but potentially get bigger results in the future, to put it in such a perspective. But regardless of all that, because we don't know, right? We don't know if this is the only way and if it's going to actually work, because we're not sure about that. But the biggest thing I see, and it's not entirely tactical, and this is something that has to be highlighted, is that somehow Farioli made the players believe in themselves, not to feel like human manure. Excuse my language. And also a huge difference. If we are playing like excrement football, we are still getting results, right? We are not, at least not as much, losing in the final minutes. We're not. Well, look at the table, right? Look at how many points we got, and so on and so on. And this is like something you cannot argue over, because that's the digits. You can't argue with digits. So sure, I really like the team acknowledges that, wow, we can train defensive work. This is something we can actually do. It's not prohibited. Right? Was it Taylor that mentioned it in an interview? We haven't really trained any defensive stuff last season. I'm still amazed by that. It's a huge dig at our previous managers. Anyways, I am worried. I understand the course we are on, and I hope it gets us there. But it is very. We owe it to ourselves as Ajax fans to ask such questions. If we ask such questions, it doesn't mean that we want Farioli to be gone or to change entirely, right? I am aware of the situation and what he wants to achieve, but I still am not sure if we are good with everything, right? With all the rotations, for example, with not using certain youth players because we use certain Owen Wijndals, for example, and so on, right? There's a couple of things I think could have been done better, but overall, yeah, in Farioli I trust, at least for now, right? Yeah. And and he has the best hairstyle of us all.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, maybe sure. You're the one that comes closest to his style.
Not even close. Not even close.
All right, guys, I need to move on topics because I still wanted to ask a lot of questions on this, and you guys know that I like to ask a lot of questions, but we have to move on. I will.
Mind if I finish with one last quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because something I really wanted to ask, right? I don't think any of us want to sack Farioli. I think we all really like him, and we do really want to keep improving. But I am still a little bit worried. Do you guys think that the way things are going now, are we going to finish above Feyenoord?
I think so, only because they are also going through their own problems. If it was the Feyenoord, and I think that, because there's clear that there's teething problems there as well with Brian Priske, right? They'll play well, they'll play badly. So I think, we're probably a bit more stable, perversely, because of the way we're playing, which is more inbuilt with security and results-based. And I think Priske probably is trying to implement a more attacking way, and he's, obviously it's very hard to come and replicate Arne Slot. But look what's happening there, right? Ask Feyenoord fans, are they happy right now? I don't think so.
No, they're not, and it's good.
But it's a completely different 180 in their case, because they went from Arne Slot to somebody else, and we went from other managers to Farioli. So
sure, but we also went from Erik ten Hag to guys that wanted to play the Ajax way, and look what happened. So
yeah, I'm just saying it's a completely different, comparison in my opinion. But okay, look, I have to move on, guys, because we have like 30 minutes until the second half comes in. Second half people and guests. I wanted to touch upon two things basically. Let me just do the bridge that Thomas already started with on the talents in the youth. One of the things that I think maybe I want to highlight is that past transfer window in the summer, it was a little bit underwhelming in the sense that we couldn't do a lot. We got a little bit underwhelming. I'm trying to be positive, Thomas. We got a little bit of the the free players, the players that are veterans. We got Rugani, we got Klaassen. Who else did we get? Of course, Weghorst, Kabir's favorite. He's gonna bag what? 25 goals, you said, right? 25.
Yeah. Goes like this.
Yeah, exactly. So we got these players, and apart from that, I think the positive thing, maybe that was underwhelming, but the positive thing is, all of a sudden we saw a lot of efforts being made to give youth players contracts, and this has been going on since the summer, and it's still pending and going on. I wanted to touch upon, especially Per and Yadorenko, but of course Kabir and Thomas, you guys can react to that as well. Are you guys happy with how this is going, the talents and the academy? And it's still very short term. You can only judge it mostly in a couple of years. But from what you're seeing right now, are you guys happy? Let me start with Per.
From a contract perspective, very happy. I think they're doing great work, and I think most of the, let's say, important prospects have been signed, and they're busy with a couple more. What I think is mostly worrying, I do still think, is the last cup game, for example. We didn't really have any of them on the bench, whereas I feel like there should have been maybe more opportunities in games like those.
Yeah. Yadorenko? Same?
No, it's a bit split as it mostly was. But it's becoming clearer and clearer. The youth teams are all playing Ajax football, and that stops at young Ajax, basically.
Still
at
young Ajax. Okay.
Yeah. And at times, young Ajax, like Ajax, does show some Ajax ball, but the intention again with both. The first selection over the last years and young Ajax way back is not play Ajax football. I don't know what.
Why do you guys think? Why do you guys think? I mean, it's a difficult question, maybe, but why do you guys think that it's not possible to replicate that in young Ajax? What happens there, in your view? Is it the coach?
What happens? I don't know what happens, but I think. I think people went with the organized chaos of Cruyff and how do you say it? Push that on anything or plakken.
What do you mean, just for our viewers? What do you mean by organized chaos? Can you explain that?
Cruyff had a vision that you should discomfort youth players. It's also a business mentality, like shower cold. So get used to discomfort. So play players in a higher age. Play players out of their position. So they can experience things that really can happen in a season or whatever, because it's not always a straight line, like Kabir said, which we all know.
Matthias is saying here, is this what you mean? They're referring Zoo Tigers versus Jungle Tigers?
But Yaidarenko, just to jump in on that, I read an interview with Berger where he was saying that they want to, they're trying to go back to that level of implementation where they're trying to get the youth players completely out of their comfort zone and get them prepared
sure.
on.
And they're making steps, but I'm coming on that because we also the documentary, or who didn't saw it, I'm gonna briefly touch one point, which is really good to do that again. What was I saying?
You were
Partially something about the documentary.
Organized chaos from Cruyff.
Organized chaos. That was it. But they do it too much. Cruyff had a vision, had an idea, and gave it a name and said that's what you need to do. And now they try to do it everywhere, and still at young Ajax. Why do you play players out of position in young Ajax to prepare them for the first team? That's, in my mind, that's ludicrous.
So
However,
you're saying you're saying it's not organized chaos, it's chaotic chaos, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
At this point, okay. Let me jump into the youth debate. You have to remember that young Ajax has always been also a place to give the first team players some minutes to regain fitness and so on. It's always been a who the hell knows what the team is for. To be honest, because it's a mix of players that come and go like on a regular basis. It's not as coherent as younger teams, right? I guess this is a factor too, and always has been. But when it comes to my point of view on the youth, it's been a little bit disappointing when it comes to the first team. That obviously I come from Poland, I have to say it. I'm very disappointed not to have seen Faberski get a debut in the senior team. I firmly believe he has deserved to get at least some minutes for Ajax 1. Also, I'm not really sure what happened to Janse. He had a very solid start of the season, and then he's not there. Big question mark. Why not? I also would have liked to.
He's not the biggest talent. He's not the biggest talent.
Yeah, but still, he looked really fine in the first team when he played, right? Also,
he's a bit like Maduro. He's good, but he's not.
Yeah, but still good enough to be involved more, right? And also, from what I have seen, I would love to see Momokio. He was really good when he was fielded, and for some reason, well, I get it, right? Result is king, and we don't want to risk it with the youth. But I think it goes too far, right? You can obviously use Kaplan or Janse, or if Hato is not available. Why waste your spot with Wijndal, right? For example, I know that neither Janse or Kaplan are not natural left backs, but still.
Yeah.
Why?
It took us like 44 minutes before we bashed one player. So we're making progress. We're much more positive than we were before.
Yeah, it had to be Wijndal, right? Deservedly so, by the way. But
I think that's disrespectful, Thomas.
I'm joking a bit, because
he's the best
actually, if I have
Europe.
to be really honest, he has exceeded my expectations in a good way this season. He hasn't been like totally useless. But still, I don't think he gave like a good enough quality to warrant limiting minutes from younger prospects, right? With lower wages, by the way, which is we always hear about the finances here and there and so on and so on and so on. Yeah.
Look, I want to touch upon that just quickly. We have 5 minutes to talk about this because then I have to move to the final subject. But your opinions, guys, on this debate, right? Because we have a very big, unbalanced squad, right? With a lot of players that actually were supposed to leave in the summer, but we still have them. Even Avila came back from an injury now, so we have him as well, but he's being mentioned as leaving in January. But we have such a big squad. How much do you guys think that Farioli is doing what he's doing with the rotation and playing everyone, basically? He always mentions the fitness level, which is one argument. But is there also a hidden argument, which he's not telling us, is that he's trying to make a statement maybe also to the board and maybe to Ajax, like, hey, listen, this is what you guys got me. This is the players I have. I'm trying to involve everyone, and this is what I can do. So
no, I don't think that he would want to take that big a gamble, because for him coming into Ajax for what seems like his dream job, he wants to ensure that he's getting results and that he's seen to be successful, which he is. I don't think he'd risk playing.
But Kabir, then my follow-up question is: even the simple Ajax fans, like you guys are not simple, but I'm a simple Ajax fan. I clearly could see from the lineup when we started rotating, you could already know what kind of game you're going to see. It was night and day between the first 11 and the other 11. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, but I think it's more about ensuring that you get buy-in from everyone in the squad and to make everyone feel like they're part of the process and that they're actually part of the team. Maybe there's a subliminal element to if they perform well, then they're in the shop window. But I think it's more from the fact that there's a new guy that's come in. This is my vision. This is my style of play. This is my project. I want all of you guys to be involved and bought in. And if you notice, there are very few or maybe hardly even any players that are coming out in the press and are criticizing it. People that, even Owen Wijndal, who suffers from a sense of, he can be called delusional after that infamous interview. Even he's come out saying, I understand what Farioli is doing, and I'm happy with the minutes that I've had so far. So I think it's more that than let me take a risk with guys that are subpar,
Yeah, so I had to hold in my laugh because you're the second one who's bashing Wijndal already in the stream. But we like the guy, but okay, all right. Look, I just
he has become a bit of a meme, right? So
bro, he got his own grade.
I want to ask a very clear question, right? Because you're talking about gamble and stuff, right? We saw Rasmussen, for instance. I'm gonna throw Rasmussen under the bus, but it's just an example, okay? We saw Rasmussen get a lot of chances to play, especially on, if I'm not mistaken, on the right side, right? Because there sometimes we didn't have anyone. So, if I'm not mistaken, Faberski can play there as well, right? Is that a bigger gamble to play Faberski than to play Rasmussen on that side? Honestly, I'm being very objective question to you guys, especially the ones that follow young Ajax more. Is Faberski not as ready as Rasmussen is to play in the first team at this moment?
You don't know.
We don't know.
Okay. That's the problem. You don't know. The gap between young Ajax and Ajax is fairly big, especially the competition has a very big gap. So you don't know. If you don't test the player, you don't know. And that's the problem with what I have with in most discussions, that they say they're not ready. Yeah. How do you know if you haven't tested him? If we play on Saturday against RKC, those are the games where you can test players like Faberski, Rasmussen, Banel. Clearly, Banel and Rasmussen, they can go to another career path because they will never make it. And I think Peer also has saw this years ago. When he looked at youth, because it's no surprise that they don't make it, but still they consist in selecting them, giving them playtime, etc., etc., etc. And that's the hard thing within Ajax, and that's also the hard thing within football. Maybe those shitty things happen. Look like Van der Vaart. Van der Vaart is now boasted that he gets a new contract, etc., etc., and he has a lovely kick. But beside that, he's a good player, and you can see that he has a tremendous dad. But it's nothing special, to be honest.
Okay.
So I don't get those choices.
Yeah.
For me,
go ahead, Pierre. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. For me, it's very simple, right? Fabregas might not be good enough, but Rasmussen is definitely not good enough.
Okay, that's clear. That's clear.
Also, give the young guy an impulse. Reward him with some minutes. Maybe it will make him work even harder, right?
Yeah, dangle the
There's
carrot.
plenty of points. Yeah, plenty of points to be made here. He might fail. Who knows?
Look at the 17-year-old talents in England and in Spain. Yes, they were talented, but everybody knew that they were talented when they were dropped in the first team. Not in the youth. In the youth, they say, "Oh, they're talented and they have potential." But when they did it on the big stage, they said, "Oh, this is a gem." So you have to test it.
All right, guys, I have to move on. We have 15 minutes left. I'm going through the comments, and I'm going to ask one more question about the youth, specifically one name, and then we'll move into the transfers, quickly what you guys expect for this window to happen. Jimmy, let me go to Millennium was saying, if you guys want to jump in on a couple of comments, let me know, but keep it short, please. Millennium was saying, selling Silvano Vos was also idiotic. Loan him out, let him develop.
He wanted to go, by the way.
Yeah.
End of topic.
Pele, who will be joining the stream in a bit, is saying we're but simple folk, Juan. That's true. I'm a simple guy, so that's true. Let me see. Also Khan saying, just a simple Ajax fan and just a simple host. 100%. Millennial saying, I do not know what Rasmussen does on the pitch, and I mean what he does does not qualify as football. Okay, that's a bit
He has won us a penalty in the Europa League, so that's something.
That's true. Jim Beam is saying he just falls a bit short, Wendell. They shouldn't have sold the other Yuri. Okay. Gary saying we need to talk about Broby and how wasteful he is. This will be in the second stream.
Yeah,
we'll come up.
This
we'll talk about that later.
podcast.
Yeah, we cannot cover everything right now, but we'll definitely touch upon that, about the players in the first squad more into detail. Nickname is saying, look, you can clearly see Faberski isn't ready because he's tiny and loses a lot of duels based on his lack of strength. Yeah, Millennium is also saying,
because he's a small player. But there are plenty of players who have made it. Look at Conceição right now, right? The one
that made it, Thomas, with a good left foot, Lionel Messi, right? So it doesn't.
Yeah, I've heard of the guy, right?
Yeah.
Also, let him bounce a bit with the very senior players, right? Let him learn how to counter the strength of the defenders, and so on and so on. I get it. He might not be. I'm not saying he should start every game, not only because of Traore, but yeah, okay, he might not be ready, but let him learn faster, make it easier for him, right?
And test him.
Yeah. AFCA is saying bringing more youth into the squad also brings a lot of risk, especially in Ajax's current state. Faberski lacks physical strength, so it's basically.
And we're not saying that we're going to start with those guys. Give them any minute at all.
Yeah, Matthias is saying kansloze discussie dit. I'm not sure about what he's talking about, but maybe he can clarify. That's good. Then he has a question actually for you guys. Is Sean Stur the biggest talent of the academy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Head and shoulders.
All right.
Head and shoulders. He's a bit like he reminds me a little bit like how he moves, like Zidane. Wow. How he moves.
Okay. All right. Don't put too much pressure on the kid. Okay.
He's phenomenal. I do not know if he's ready yet, but I would throw him under the bus Saturday.
Throw him to the wolves.
Organized chaos.
Matthias is saying.
Organized chaos.
Guys, I have to really move quickly. Sorry. Matthias is saying an example at Rasmussen. He played the game with Young Ajax and he was one of the best players. That shows the difference between the two teams. So the first team and the Young Ajax team. All right. Thank you for the explanation, Matthias. Guys, so basically, I want to ask you just to finalize this first stream. Transfers, January. We are in January. There are a lot of news coming out. There are a couple of things I want to ask you. First of all, our target on the left wing position, Moro. Your views, quickly.
I don't see the point.
You go for it.
I don't see the point. I mean, I like the player. I actually know him. But if we're going to spend 10 mil for a position where we have a top player in HOTS, I'd rather get a solid Eredivisie player, an actual left winger to cover there, and spend the money somewhere else, because this shouldn't be our priority. And that's my entire take on Moro. Nothing against the guy.
Your problem
Nothing against the guy.
Yeah, but your problem is not so much the profile of the player. You're okay with that. It's more the money and the difficulty in getting him, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. I guess it would be our entire transfer budget if we get him, right? Not the way to proceed, in my opinion.
All right. Am I the one glitching, or just
no? I'm me too.
You have frozen from my end, but
we're all glitching at the moment, or are we okay now?
I think it's the internet's way of saying just wrap up or no more last questions.
No. It's not ramping up. I think it's just a glitch. But let's see. Let's just talk through it. Sorry for that. Just technical difficulty. All right. Peer, I wanted to ask you about Moro as well. What's your opinion about that?
Honestly, not really sure. I'm not sure whether that's the guy you want, right? Same as Thomas. Like, we already have HOTS, and we definitely need another backup winger. But are you going to buy an expensive backup winger, or are you just going to get a talented kid to just develop behind HOTS? Other than that, I'm also not sure we're going to buy anyone at all this window. I feel like it's going to be a very long window of them throwing names. And then in the end telling us, oh yeah, sorry, we didn't have the money, so we didn't buy anyone.
Okay. Also, I can see on the chat that Matthias is mentioning that we're going to loan Moro. There's huge interest in the guy all around the Europe. I don't think he's going to be loaned out. He's going to be sold, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure, but I wouldn't count on just getting him on loan and see what happens. Actually,
especially getting him on loan without a mandatory buy option, right?
Sure. Actually, if we get him, I would interpret this as we're selling HOTS in the summer. This would be the only thing that would make sense, and I don't want this.
What? Okay, clear. Quickly,
another stupid guy, right?
Yeah,
stupid.
Okay, Yadorenko, question for you. We heard today about Banel, interest from Twente, but his contract will expire in the summer, if I'm not mistaken. So, if we're going to loan him out, we have to give him a contract. What's your opinion about that?
Yeah, don't loan him out.
Let him run out of contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe even better, just say, okay, let's tear up the contract and good luck in your career. Because he has been at Ajax. He has been a good talent for us. So you have to enable him to have his own career.
Yeah, but isn't that a risk now in the situation we are this season to just terminate a winger position, just a winger player, even though he's not the best winger we have? I understand what you're saying, but can we afford to take that risk right now, mid-season?
How much has he featured so far? Is this times. Going to?
How many? Not a lot, but a few times.
Let me check.
Yeah.
My 2 cents on the whole transfer thing is I would be really happy if we get the Spanish chap from Valladolid. But 2 words, Halilovic and Namli. We can get both of them for less than 10 million. Halilovic is such an Ajax player. Yeah. Like, why? Like, I don't get it. Like, apparently he's too inconsistent. Bro, what was like, look at the players we got under Mislintat. Halilovic, in terms of his quality, vision, that's what we're missing. I don't get it at all. Like, I don't get it.
Peer, would you take Halilovic?
Sorry,
I'd probably
Bonnell played for 96 minutes this season.
Okay. All right.
Are you going to miss him? Come on.
No, I'd probably take him. I think he's, how would you say that? Like a budget Ødegaard, right? When Ødegaard was at Heerenveen over in the Netherlands, I think you could see that he's a baller and that he's a great football player. I think he fits the style, so I wouldn't mind it. I don't think he'll cost that much, so it's worth a gamble. I also still really like Sano from NEC. He hasn't scored as many goals this season, but it's also because he's been playing as a midfielder. I think that guy is so versatile.
Yeah. So you guys are saying basically there are cheaper options than what we're looking at.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Okay. I'm just moving quickly to the comments again. I think somebody.
I'm curious as to what
Say one thing on the transfers,
Mhm.
Juan.
Go.
Look at Faberski.
Mhm.
If you did test him in the first season, you would have the information if you need to buy a right winger or not.
Yeah, right winger.
Now you don't have that information.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Guys, there are some questions. I'm not gonna pull it up because we don't have a lot of time left. But just a couple of names dropping here. Just quickly, yes or no. Some like are just hypothetical, okay, and some are just maybe real yes or no. Ziyech, you guys would take him back if it was possible?
I would.
No.
Depends. But
I'm saying if it was possible.
I would. If
Yeah,
all
but
things
what-
being equal, all things being equal, I would.
What are we saying is possible? Like, are we saying 4 million a year, or are we saying 1 million a year? Right?
and
Well,
does
I
this
think-
mean that Berghaus is gone or not? Because if Berghaus is staying, no.
Okay, clear. So this January, if Berghuis stays, according to you guys, no way we're getting Ziyech, right? All right.
That's my take.
how
I don't know
about-
if the other guys agree, but
Okay. How about Tadic?
100%.
Yeah, I take Tadic. He's
It's like
been
always.
us. It's like us, the comeback during the January transfer window.
I named my cat Dusan, especially because of him. That sums it up, right?
Jadrenko, you?
I mean, he's always
Yeah.
fit.
Jadrenko's
Yeah.
still thinking. Yeah, you would take him? Jadrenko?
No.
You would take him?
No.
No? Okay, final one I want to mention quickly. I mean, sorry guys, we're just going quickly through this. Last 2 minutes. Wendell, who has been thrown under the bus 2 times already this stream. Leganes, interested in Wijndal. And the clubs are actually already agreeing, but Wijndal has reservations, basically, to go there. How do you guys look at this situation right now with Wijndal? Because he has a contract until the summer of 2027.
He has the right to have reservations. I mean, he's not a slave or anything. So I wouldn't give him too much stick for that. I'd rather get rid of him, even on loan, to... it wouldn't be a great move, but at least we get some wage budget back, right? At least we save a little bit money. I would encourage him to go. If it's not the club of his dreams, tell him at least you're going to play more, and it's just for half a season, right? So please do yourself a favor. It's not about us, it's about you. We want the best, we wish you the best of luck. So yeah, please go on, and everyone's going to be happy. But I don't think it's going to happen. Leganes doesn't feel like a team that would be able to attract him. Still, I have hope that Wijndal, is a former national player and so on. The name itself is still rings a bell for some managers or agents, I guess. So I hope we're going to be able to offload him permanently, preferably, but I'm not sure if that's going to be happening actually. But yeah, let him go. I guess that's not controversial.
All right. Here we go. I'm just summarizing. A lot of people are saying no Tadic, he's too slow. Tadic is 34 plus, Tadic is too old. And he won't play second fiddle behind Gots. So yeah, maybe that's a good point as well. Regarding
Yeah, but don't you want in our current situation the possibility to have him as a striker or a second striker? He
And
strikes.
in his defense, every single touch is an assist.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Look, just one more thing, just a quick round. It's actually directed to me, but I want to ask you guys: are there any teams out there where Ajax send their youth players on loan to toughen up, if you will? That would be mostly the Eredivisie, I would think, but we don't really do that, right? To be honest.
They do, like FC Twente, Groningen, Excelsior.
But we mean like a satellite team,
yeah,
right?
we did. I mean, Baas went on a loan, came back. That's true. By the way, we still have. Funny thing is, Univar is still on loan, right, or not?
Yeah, I think he got sold.
I don't think so. I think he's
still on loan. He's still on loan. So yeah, so there are a couple of teams that we, but we don't do it all the time because I think Ajax preferably wants the players to just go through young Ajax and go to the first team. But who knows? It depends on the situation, to be honest, and the squad as well.
But you know, you never know. Sometimes it works, and in a huge surprise, like with Baas, right? So say what you will about his recent form, which is far from perfect, but overall, he's had a very nice first round. So, and I never expected him to be as good. So,
correct.
Sometimes it works.
Final comment: Banel is not that bad. He has forced himself trying to prove himself too much. Last year was very shitty for a breakthrough. All right, that's the final comment that I will present to you guys, and I want to thank you because it's already time. We already went over time, actually. Kabir, Yadirenko, Thomas, Pierre, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure, and to everyone that tuned in, much love. We hear your comments. We love you, and who knows? Maybe this is just a teaser.
Or not.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, guys, thumbs up for the video if you enjoy watching it, because I feel like 56 people watching and 10 thumbs ups, it's not enough. It's not enough. I think you can do better if you like what you're seeing, right? My hairstyle, for example.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Pierre. Good luck with your moving in the house and making everything nice.
Thank you so much.
Yadirenko, Kabir, Thomas, it's been a pleasure.
See you guys.
Same here.
Bye, guys. Bye. Take
Bye.
care. Yeah, we're still waiting. So we're just still streaming here. I hope no people are not just leaving us here at the moment. Just let me fix this quickly. How many people we have now? We have 2 people. Adding Ajax, adding Luke. I think we're almost there. Who are we missing? We're missing someone.
Yellen.
Where is Yellen?
I don't know.
You don't know where Yellen is. Okay. That's not the one. Let's do it like this. Okay. All right, guys. Welcome, Ajax, Luke, and Pelle. We'll wait for Jelle. When Jelle comes in, we'll just add him to the stream. So this is the second half. Guys, I have to ask you, how have you been? How are you guys doing? Ajax, go first, man.
I'm doing quite good, mate. It's good to catch up with all of you guys again because, you know, we've been to some tough times with the results last seasons, and there has been some momentum this season to cheer, actually. So, yeah, I'm quite good. I'm happy with what I'm seeing, you know. I've heard quite some negatives in the first group today. So I'm trying to balance that a bit because, you know, the team that we have and the situation that this coach, you know, is in is quite difficult. He managed to qualify through a long qualification session for the Europa League. This is something that's very good because it's important for us in this situation. And that's quite some achievements already early on, you know, with the squad that he has. And I know everything is not that peachy. You know, there are some negatives also, but, you know, to improve, you have to go through certain phases and you will also have some setbacks. But I like to see a coach with a philosophy for once, because the last coaches we had, they were trying to play Ajax football, but probably didn't realize they didn't have the squad for it, or maybe were too stubborn to alter their style. and you have to begin at the fundamentals. You have to set a fundament defensively to build upon to the front and to another style of football. And we're in second place now. I'm quite happy with that, and I'm hoping we can end at least in that spot, so we can build upon that momentum in the future.
Perfect. I'm very happy to see all of you, actually. Pelle, the cool suite. How cool are you going into 2025?
The coolest I've ever been, man. The coolest I've ever been and ever will be. You ask me how I've been. It's been dull. My life has been grey, dark, and everything. But with this podcast, for the moment, being back, everything's peachy, man. How can you complain, really? Just look at the hype in the chat. Everyone's feeling it.
Yeah, exactly. Good to have you. Good to have you. Jelle, look, I wanted to make this joke. I'm going to be honest. I was planning on making this joke, but I don't need to do it because somebody already asked you. Did you order some pizza today?
The last time, yes. Well, it's a little bit late for that, but I turned my doorbell off. So
smart. How are you? Everything okay?
Good. Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Are you enjoying Ajax lately more than last year?
Before lately. I think December was rough, but we had a good stretch before that. So
good. Luke, are you going to surprise us with something, or are deliberately wearing a hoodie right now?
My head's cold.
Yeah. That's impossible, man. You're hiding something underneath that hoodie of yours.
You don't want to reveal? You don't want to do a reveal?
I've been busy. Are you ready? I've been busy. Are you ready?
Here we go. Guys,
Whoa.
This is the real Luke. Not his brother. This is the real Luke with hair.
I have hair.
Wow. Did you go to the same place as Klassen?
No.
That was Istanbul, right?
Yeah.
I missed my flight.
Gotta do what you gotta do, eh?
I've been busy growing my hair. Busy period, and enjoying Ajax, being able to look forward to games for once as opposed to the last couple of years,
Yeah, exactly. Look, I want to jump right in.
Hairlines.
We talked in the previous stream. We talked a little bit about Farioli, but it was more about the team development and stuff. I want to focus more on the coach. I want your first opinions on Farioli and what he has brought to the team and how he's been so far for Ajax. Positives, negatives, anything you guys are thinking of, just throw it out there. I want to start with you, Luke, because I know that you told me you have a Knudsen poster. We know that. Hanging on your wall, but you are thinking of maybe buying also a poster of Farioli, right? Put it next to it.
I have Xavi one next to Knudsen, so it's two.
Okay.
I am Farioli. I do like what he does. My only issue is that whilst I watched some games of Nice from last season when he first joined us.
Yeah.
You could see how defensive the game was, and you knew what you was going to get when it came to Ajax, right? We're very desperate because of the last managers we've had, and I think at this point we'd all take what we've had so far with Farioli as opposed to what we've had before. Can there be improvements? Obviously, but in my opinion, someone who hasn't played the football can't teach the football. Does that make sense? Let me rephrase that. Someone who has never played it, I feel like doesn't fully understand how to play it, right? And this is why, because he was never he was a philosopher, right? And he was a goalkeeper coach, and he was all these things, but he's trying to play football a certain way, which when you see Barcelona play with Pep, and I know they had an unreal team and they had the players to do so, that was one thing, right? And I feel like things are going against him where we don't have the players, they're not intelligent enough to be able to do what he wants. And I feel like he's too scared to take risks because it's a points-driven industry, isn't it? You don't get enough points, you lose your job, you're sacked. You know what I mean? However, he's done really well with what he had, and the improvement of some players that I've seen. Mr. I told you so right here. Taylor, yeah. Sotalo, you can find the clips. You find clips about Kabir on stream. Find my clips. Where's my clips one? Right? Sotalo was going to be a better player. I said Taylor would be a better player. I said Forbes, but he left, so that don't really count, right? Yeah. But and Fitzjim, unreal progression for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, people, I don't have those particular clips. Sorry for that. Sorry to disappoint. But I even remember last season we were saying a lot of times, like, these players can do much more, but they have to have a competent manager. They have to have a manager, and we will see a different type of player with, and we mentioned a couple of players like, Sutalo, like you said, and other players as well. So, but even Luke, even you have to admit that you have been impressed with some of the development of some of the players, like Bas, for instance, or even Fayzed, like you mentioned. Nobody expected that.
Absolutely, I didn't even think that Bas was even going to start any games. Right,
Exactly.
you sign Rugani on a loan, and you think you have your centre back pair. You think Hato is going to play in the middle or whatever. And although he's had shaky moments, as they all have, when you're young, you're never gonna play 8, 9 out of 10s every week. You can accept a 6 or 5 out of 10 if he's put in a lot of 7s. So he's been really good. Really impressed with Mika Hoss as well. Hoss has been really, really good. One of our better players. His upwards trajectory of his development has been like, bam. I didn't think he was going to get this good this quick. And listen, when everyone's playing well, it's a feel-good thing. But because we've got so many young players that are trying to improve, when it doesn't go well, they haven't got the experience to drag us out, and we miss that because we're so wasteful up top. There are so many games we should have scored more goals, man. But
yeah, we'll touch upon those things later. Pelle, let me go to you. Specifically, Pelle, I think you remember you've been on a couple of shows before, but we had this discussion a couple of times about, should we take a foreign coach, yes or no? Should we do it? Is it Ajax DNA? Is it not Ajax DNA? We took Farioli. We took a chance. We took a gamble on him. Looking back at those 6 months, do you think, the whole Ajax DNA argument is a little bit forgotten right now because he's performing that well?
Well, look at you asking the one Swede guy to talk about the foreign card here. Well, I'm going to try to be careful, so
well, you can say whatever you want.
The feathers too much. No, but I would definitely say that I'm not even sure how much of a gamble it was, to be honest. I think most people, I would say a lot of people in the chat previously during the first part of the stream as well, thought that maybe it's a little Ajax-esque, the way we're playing currently, but at the same time, I would imagine that it very much coheres to the way that we would want to develop this team in particular. So I think we're definitely on the right track. And while I do understand some of the concerns, I would say that the reason, rather the first reason that he's not a Dutchman is the least of the concerns when you're opening up the critique, which of course is valid. So I would definitely say that of all the options we had, he's definitely the best one. And I do believe that he's actually very much Ajax material in that regard. So, yes, I would say that the gamble, if I can call it so, definitely, yeah, it was worth it, I would say. And I would say that he's going to grow into it as well. As Luke said previously, he's a philosopher, not necessarily a football man in the beginning. But what is Ajax if not in the beginning? What is Ajax but philosophy? And then you add the beautiful game to it. So I would definitely say that it's going to be something. I would definitely say that this is going to pay off in the long term as well, given the fact that as long as he is given the chance, both by the team and management, but also by the fans.
Yeah, Jelle, I'm going with you with the same question. Farioli, your thoughts so far?
Well, I think he has some good qualities in terms of the team building. What stood out to me the most in the first part of this season was that the fighting mentality amongst the players, and everybody is a part of the team and part of the culture, which was lacking previously because a lot of players were disgruntled because they weren't playing as much and they wanted to play more. And I feel like whatever your opinion is on the rotation, that also played a factor into team building and dressing room quality and atmosphere. And he maybe lacks some proper Ajax football knowledge, but I think that's easier to understand and to learn because he's still a young guy and he's adaptable. But he has all the qualities, I think, to make it a really good team. And they seem to want to fight for him, so he must be doing something well. So I'm pleasantly surprised by the first half of the season, which is I'm not usually very positive about the Ajax coaches the last few years. And I think what he's done with the team and that we're 6 points off PSV is very remarkable given the state of the squad. And it may not always have been pretty, but it was effective at times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Ajax, anything to add to this?
There's a lot to add, but we'll
Go
try
ahead.
to
Go
try
ahead.
to keep it short. First of all, I do not fully agree with Luke about the, he's not a football-minded coach. He is a football-minded coach, but he's not has a football history. Not played himself and stuff. But a lot of coaches that fail in football do have that. Were players. The pool of managers that had a player career, become a coach, and fail is much bigger than that succeed. And I think a certain guy called Mourinho would disagree with you about having to be a football player. I'm not saying I stand behind his philosophy and his way of football, but his accolades speak for itself. So to be a football manager without having the background as a player is quite difficult on its own, because the pool of those managers is quite small compared to the big pool of managers that have that past. And so it's easy to say, look at the big managers, look at Guardiola, look at other coaches like Xabi Alonso, etc., and dub them a good manager. But how many counterparts of managers are there that don't have that background and get that chance? So I fully disagree with that part, with those arguments. And I think it's a blessing for us that he became the manager of our club, because we've had a few managers in the past, like a John van Schip. Only good things about him, he helped the club out in a bad situation, with bad situation for himself also in his private life, but he tried to play Ajax football. He has the past as a footballer, but he isn't a good coach, with all due respect to John. He helped us out, but he isn't that rating of a coach material. And also, I've heard people say it's a gamble. Wasn't it a gamble to get Stein? Come on,
Apparently
let's be
not.
honest. It doesn't matter how he became the coach of Ajax, but that's even a bigger gamble for me than a Farioli, for example. So the things that he showed as a coach, the things that he showed as a person, really, really, really surprised me, and I really like him as our head coach. Not only that, the staff that he brought in, I see passion on the bench now. Maybe some people will say it's a little bit too much, but remember we had the iPad guy and the Tsitaki guy as assistant, and what did they bring to the table? So I like the mentality, and also they try to function as a group, as a unit. Everybody, including all the assistants, including all the people on the bench, there's cohesion between them, and that is something that I really like to see. Is it all peachy? No. But I see improvement, and I see somebody that knows what he wants and tries to follow his philosophy. So yeah, give him more time, give him a little bit more quality players, and the rotation comes from having a lack of balance in the team, in my opinion. So he needs to get everything out of the hi-hat like a magician, to make it work, because the amount of games that we played this season, he already mentioned it, not as an excuse, but just as a fact. We had the most games in Europe or something. I've heard him say, like, in a short amount of time, because we also had some postponed matches, and we had a run of like crazy amount of matches, like not even seen in the Premier League, competition. So all those things taking into account, I'm very happy with him. And sorry, Luke, to say, but I fully disagree with the argument about having to be a footballer in the past.
Listen, very, very quickly on it, because I don't want to keep going over this and move to other topics, but I wasn't saying you have to be a footballer. It got lost in translation. I'm very happy with Farioli, but people are saying, oh, we don't play attacking football, we don't play the Ajax way, we don't play pressing football and things like that. But, for me, if you are a footballer, you're going to understand how to do those things better than a coach who hasn't done it. Does that make sense? So, for example, in my opinion, Pep Guardiola goes to Barcelona, goes to Man City, and you cannot argue about what he does and his stature of a manager and the clubs he's been to, but he would know better about trying to play certain ways than someone who hasn't played it, right? Xavi went and won a league title at Barcelona because he's played that way. I'm not saying that Farioli can't do it, but you also need the players to do it. You also need every other factor to be able to be successful. But my opinion is that, if you want, other managers that have done that will be able to understand certain things in certain moments of games more than others. That was my point.
But
I'm
can I
happy with
jump on that
Farioli
real
though,
quickly?
so-
Because if you look at Guardiola at Man City, his whole tactic, I'm not saying he's a one-trick pony, but it comes close to his playing style is his playing style. And with the absence of Rodri, his complete tactics just fell through the floor. I saw a YouTube video about the absence of Rodri, what it does to his tactical style, and he just kept going with this tactical style. I think they lost like 5 or 6 in a row. So your argument that they would be wary to play a certain style because they have a certain quality as a player, at least for this part of Guardiola's career, is not true, in my opinion.
All right, let's move to back to Ajax.
All opinions.
No, it's fine. Just quickly, Pelle, do you follow the Swedish league? Because I have a question here, but if you don't, I'm not going to ask the question.
No, I would imagine. I think I saw the question in the comments, right, about the different players exactly. So I wouldn't be for the question. I don't know, Juan, if you want to read it out loud for the viewers first, but
Maybe you can do it. It's fine. Go ahead.
I'm not about to butcher 2 of those names, so I don't need that on my resume.
I don't even know those players, so that's why I'm leaving it up.
So for the context is the fact that Taha Ali is playing for Malmo. So this team of Zlatan, the traditional really strong house team of Sweden. Not going to try that one. I'm sorry.
Dan Inusa.
Yeah, Inusa. Yeah, exactly. So he's playing for Häcken, it's called. I'm not entirely sure about him. And Taure is playing for my local team, which would be Hammarby. So I can only answer for 2 of those. So Tahali, I would say, is probably already going to another team. So he's going to Turkey. So Transnaspor, I think it's going to be. So I think we shouldn't talk about that one because it's not going to happen. Taure, I would imagine he's a left winger, so I would believe he could contribute something due to the fact that he's going to be a budget alternative for someone. I can't recall what's the name of the player we are looking at currently for the left winger. Yeah, exactly. So I would imagine that it's going to be a more budget-friendly alternative, and I also would say that he's going to be able to grow into that position in a more exponential way and actually be able to contribute some of the same creativity which Götze is currently doing. However, I'm not entirely sure that Hammarby is going to sell him due to the fact that he's turned out to be one of their surprising, golden boys of the last season. And for the last guy, I can't really. I don't dare to speak about his qualities due to the fact that I don't really watch Häcken that much.
Okay, clear. Okay, coming back to Ajax, guys, and regarding the points that we want to discuss. I want to touch upon the qualities of Farioli that you have seen so far, the things that stood out for you. We touch upon, of course, how he's been doing, but more specifically, what did impress you the most about his style of work, his style of how he became a coach and what he has been doing with Ajax so far? And what are the things, and this is also a question that came from one of our viewers, I think it was from, let me check, Cisco. What needs to change still so we can improve throughout the season? And of course, one of the easiest answers will be getting better players, but let's say with the same players, just to keep it simple. Who wants to go first with this?
Let me take this one.
Go ahead, Ajax.
The thing that impressed me most is also...
You're muted. You're still muted.
Is it better now?
You're back.
Oh, sorry, man. There's something wrong with the laptop, I think.
It's okay. Don't worry.
A bit rusty, with not having to record all those months.
I know.
All right, let me start again. The thing that impressed me most is also something that we lacked, and I touched upon many times when we still had schools, on the channel. He created a team out of these individuals, and I know it might not be of the best quality, but the things that he touched upon is he instilled a philosophy. He started with trying to be more stable in the back, He tried to instill certain traits within this team, but also he worked hard on the fitness level. And if you saw our players under Van Schip last half season, you saw that they were fatigued a lot within the matches. And usually in the better stages under Ten Hag, we also broke certain teams in the latter part of the second half. And now I can really say this team, condition-wise, is one of the better teams within the competition. And this has something to do with what he instilled and the way he trained with his squad. So that is actually quite smart, because individual quality you cannot create. But what you can create is a certain feeling within the group that you do it together, that you make a team of it, that you create cohesion, and that you make sure that the team is ready for it by training them very hard and being very conditionally fit. And this is something that he's done very well. And also the rotation comes into the equation because of this. Because he needs the rotation because they monitor it and probably see that they need rest because they have had a heavy burden on them since the season is already quite long for us. So yes, there must be some improvements towards other ends of the play, especially attacking wise, because I also have some negatives in that area. For example, you have one of the best poachers, one of the best heading kind of strikers with great heading ability up front, but still you do not play a lot of crosses. That baffles me. Utilize him. That sort of things you can instill also within this squad. But the thing I'm most impressed with is the cohesion, the making a team of it, and the fitness. And also the stability within the defense compared to last season.
All right. Luke, what about you? Same question for you.
I agree with Ajax. I think the work rate in the team is so much more higher that you see players like Klaassen, like Fayzed able to drop deeper to receive the ball and help progress play. Numbers drop deeper. There's more passing options. They're able to get back and forth. The amount of distance I've seen Fayzed make in a game is crazy. He's right wing. He's trying to make overloads on the right wing. He's up at the edge of the box. And I remember him having an interview saying he got told that he needs to get into the box more. And you see him getting more shots off. And he scores a few goals or hits the post or whatever Ajax do these days, right? Because we don't score goals enough, apparently. So, but one thing that we do need to improve is just in front of goal. I can't tell you that I'm so done with Robbie. It drives me crazy. And actually, ironically, a striker that I'd really like to see for us is Mikatadze. And it's because he does a bit of everything. Right, he can drop deep. He can probably beat a man one-on-one. And I just feel like the thing that goes against Robbie, he's not technical. He's pure power, holds the ball really well, but then put in front of goal, it's almost like he doesn't know how to slow down or anything like that. I also would like to see our back.
Are you saying because we're going to touch upon Robbie right now. Look, in general, we can agree, if you guys all agree with me, just to state the fact right now, almost most of the players improved under Farioli, right? Most of the players. I think maybe an exception. Berghuis is coming from a long injury, so maybe it's too early to tell. But the last games we saw from him were not good. But apart from that, we're seeing Guy even performing as prime Cafu, right? With the nice goals that he's scoring. So basically, every player has improved. But Brobbey is not like he's not playing well. He has games in which he's performing really well. But the goals, where are the goals? He's not making those chances. So what is it? Is it what you're saying? Is it pure now that we have to? I mean, he's still relatively young, but is Brobbey? This is Brobbey for us. This is what Brobbey is gonna be, or is this just a phase? That's what I'm asking right now to you guys.
I would just imagine that it's probably a phase, right? Because even going back to just the last season, he was one of, the only thing in team that worked, in which he was actually able to finish off those shots, being clinical in front of the goal, actually scoring. So it's a weird thing to see that basically the entire team has stepped up and he has, I don't know why, but he's stepped back, and it feels like he's lost some confidence due to the fact of the long, the drought, or if it's due to the training routine in which he may be not getting, the specific.
Or maybe the competition with Weghorst, maybe.
I mean, but this started before Weghorst came in, right? So he has had this type of trend for some time now. It was even in the preseason. So there has been some issues showing there. And I think it's telling due to the fact that I would imagine that it's only a it's only a phase. But the problem is that you can't really blame at this point in your career. You can't only point to something. It's like, oh, it's a phase. It's gonna, it's gonna pass. It's not like being a goth in high school. You're gonna actually be able to contribute something to the overall collective. You can't just pull back and blame that it's just not going very well. So I'm not entirely sure what it might be and if it's just a dip in form. But I would say that I have faith in him because I think in general he contributes more concerning, both when it comes to falling back, playing like more than Weghorst, which is basically, the traditional pint setter than Brobbey is in that regard. He doesn't really have to rely on crosses to be able to score. But I would say that for all the chances he has gotten, he really needs to start finishing those more, because right now it looks like he sold his soul to the devil last season and now he's paying the Reaper. So something has to give.
If I can give my 2 cents for him, because I think I have an explanation what it could be. Brobbey is a young guy, We tend to forget that he is a youngster and he needs to be stable. And he has like a veteran competitor up front in Weghorst. The bad side of this rotation of the coach is that Brobbey, and I do not know the exact English phrase for it, but in Dutch we say kind van de rekening. Try to translate that one. But because of the lack of starting spots, this guy, he's young, and last season he knew he would be in the striker position and probably had less things that the coach demanded from him. So, and this season he needs to do maybe even more things to follow up on. And last season he was the guy that helped us out up front, but he was always on the first 11 sheet, This season, because of the rotation and also because he had like a little bit of an unfortunate start, he needs the confidence. He needs to be starting matches and playing full 90 minutes, and it's not happening. And the counterpart of that is Weghorst is a veteran. He's been everywhere on the globe playing football and has seen it all. He doesn't need the same confidence as a Brobbey needs at this stage of his career, because Brobbey is still growing and he needs to have the experience and playing more. Weghorst has already seen it all, so he can just rely on his experience. So that's why Weghorst in this situation is playing better, and Brobbey is playing worse and worse and worse, because when he plays for 50, 55 minutes, and then he's being subbed. Or he can play the last 25 minutes the last weeks.
I have a slightly different reading. Maybe you guys agree with Ajax on this, or maybe you guys agree with me on this. But I would say Brobbey is not playing badly. I would say he's just not converting the chances. That's the problem.
Yeah,
but I think he's playing overall better than Weghorst. But Weghorst is much more clinical.
Yeah, I think
is just efficient. He's efficient. That's
it.
it.
No, this is it. But I also think that Brobbey's a lot more involved in the 1-2s and the play with the centre mids. A lot of the time, when they play their 1-2s, Fitzjim gets in the box. It's Brobbey holding the ball, laying it off. They play a 1-2, and then Taylor scores. I think there's a couple of goals that Taylor scored this season that's been quite similar to that. So I feel like, whilst you can be frustrated with Brobbey. I'm frustrated with Brobbey because he's not converting these chances. But then neither does Agbom that often.
Yeah.
And so it's not just on him. There's a lot of players that aren't converting the chances, but also I feel like Brobbey is more involved, coming deeper, holding up the ball, waiting for runners to come in. So he's almost like he's sacrificing, because a lot of his goals were running behind. He got a lot of through balls last year. He was running a lot more. Now he's a lot more to feet. So I feel like obviously that the chance creation changes as well. And instead of chances created for him, it's almost like he's creating chances for other players a lot more than he did. So you kind of like sacrifice and flip it 180, don't you? So listen, we just need to score more goals. If he scored none for the rest of the season and Taylor got another 15 because he's holding up the ball and laying it off, I'll take it.
I mean, just a quick question for you all, I would say, and even Juan, you're all also given the chance to answer that one. Do you think that the system in which Farioli is encouraging is less encouraging for our strikers, and that we're less reliant on players like both Brobbey or Wout, and that we're relying more on the wingers or the central midfield, for example? What do you think? Like, is it a systematic issue with our strikers in that regard? Because I would say that we have seen more contributions from our, like Luke says, from both from Taylor, from Fitzjim. We've seen more, from God's. Do you think that is as a result of Brobbey not being as reliable, or would you say that has been systematic to, the coaching of Farioli?
I think it's less reliance on Brobbey. Everything is more spread out. Traore scores. Well, I mean, it's only his first year back, but he's scoring a few goals. Costa scoring a few goals. And I've seen Taylor be involved in more shots in the box than I've seen him do ever, right? And even Fitzjim's getting involved. So, I honestly think it's a system thing. Even at Nice, when I was watching those few games in Nice, their striker wasn't scoring goals. If anything, I looked at the statistics of these players, the strikers, they were all really poor. They were all below their XG. I don't like going to XG because the eye test is better than the data, but they're not converting as much as they should. And I feel like it does come down to a systematic thing, but also less reliance on Brobbey because he's that central pivot to hold the ball to an extent, and then players play off him. And we've seen that a lot,
But let's not forget that this season we have two wingers that likes to come inside, like to take their own chances. And the amount of balls that Brobbey gets fed, in a game isn't that much. And also those players that you're talking about, like a Fitzjim, like a Taylor finishing off certain chances, some of those chances, if you look back at the season, were combinations with Brobbey. Him falling a little bit deep, playing the combination football, little flick on, and then they can finish the ball. So that's partly also on him. So he's actually helping the team out by feeding them more, by dropping deep. But he has two wingers that he cannot rely on because Gods likes to cut inside, play the combination football and try to finish it off, which he's done successfully a few times this season. Same with Traore. How many times do you see those guys going to the far side of the pitch, to the back line of the opponent and feeding crosses into the box? Also, how many times do you see the backs overlapping and doing that? Not that much. So it's also a lack of being fed good passes and chances from your teammates. And the few that he gets, he finishes it off poorly. And then the confidence becomes, less big. And that's the problem also with Weghorst. Weghorst has done well, but Weghorst in the beginning of the season, when did he came in? At certain points that we needed to force something. I remember one game that he gave an assist and he scored a goal and he turned the game around. Why does he do that? Because everything will be pointed towards him. Even the wingers will try to feed him crosses. But when Brobbey is in the team, he doesn't get those chances and those balls because they're playing differently. This is also something that we should not forget.
Okay. Well, I agree to an extent, but I think also that what I'm missing at Brobbey is his forward runs. I think he comes into the pitch and the ball too much. Because sometimes there's space behind the defenders, and even if he doesn't get the ball, he will drag one or two defenders with him and make room for Traore or God. So I'm missing a bit of his. I don't know if it's a tactical thing or it's a football intelligence thing just for him specifically, but I do feel like he should be more tactically aware of what his possibilities are and not just only go for the 1-2, which he does well. But I think he needs to add more variety to his game, and then he will get more chances with the Henderson pass or with the Berghuis pass if he plays, or Taylor. So I think he can do more in terms of setting himself up instead of others.
With that, I agree. But I think besides scoring the amount of goals that he should have finished off, I think Brobbey played quite well in most of the games that he played in.
No, because I agree.
He's had contributions in combination football or gave assists or made runs or kept two defenders busy, so other players.
The last part I disagree with, but okay.
Yeah, you should see the fatigue that certain defenders have when Wout Weghorst comes in at the 60th minute or 70th minute, because Brobbey just fought with them for like 2 parts of the match,
I'm sure, but that can also be when he comes from the striker position to the 10 to combine with the midfielders. But it's also possible to go for a deep run and to create more space. I think that he can do that more often, and that's what I'm missing a bit from him, and which he did more last year, actually, in my opinion. And I think he can add that.
Okay, guys, I just want to go through the comments about Brobbey specifically, and also the question that Pele raised, which is related. Just go through the comments. If you guys want to react, just let me know. I will just select a few, of course. So Jim Beam is saying, if you can score so many goals last season, then why can't you do the same this season? I know Adversaries make special plans for Brobbey, but that's the moment between a good striker and a great one. Kans is of the opinion that Brobbey is not a top striker. Jamie is saying Weghorst always motivates himself naturally, when he plays a game. And Gary also saying, agreed, Brobbey's issue is purely goals. What else do we have? I think Danny is very impressed by your questioning, Pelle. Maybe you can take over for me soon.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the announcement in the end of this podcast.
Exactly.
Just trying the ground, see?
Exactly. Damien is saying we're better against the bigger sides when Brobbey is holding up the ball and keeping defenders busy. I mean, we cannot ignore that. He does that, we know. But as a striker as well, look, it's not like we are demanding or forcing him to score goals. There were chances that we saw, and it's not one or two. We saw at least 4, 5, 6 chances. It could have like 6 or 7 goals in the Eredivisie already. Yeah. But the chances, the chances that he misses, with all due respect, these are chances that you don't miss at this level.
That's what I fully agree with. But the amount of chances that he gets during the games isn't that much. And unfortunately, the 100% chances that he got, he missed big ones, and that eats your confidence, So It's not that he gets like 10 chances a game or 6 chances a game, and he misses like 5 or 4. He usually has like 1, maybe 2 big chances if he's lucky, and he spoiled them. That's the thing you can blame on him. But it's also maybe the confidence and also him being very young still.
But one thing I want
to remember, right? So you don't remember the chances not gotten from a striker is the fact that when you don't have the ball, people's eyes don't naturally turn to the striker, right? So in that regard, what you're actually doing off the ball is as of less importance than when you actually get those chances. So to be completely fair, yes, as most people have been pointing out, that he's probably a better, more complete player than, for example, Wout when it comes to his contribution. But in the end of the day, what do you have a striker for if it is not to actually complete those chances? And the ones he has missed are usually absolute criminal. It's
take penalties.
And also, I want to highlight those chances that he has missed. It's starting to it also started to play in his head, because he admitted in an interview recently that he had trouble sleeping sometimes because of how he hasn't been scoring goals.
It should be betting if he doesn't have that.
Exactly. And if it would have happened, I mean, let's reverse it. If this would have happened with Weghorst at his age and experience, he would have dealt with it differently, because he has been through everything already.
But I think you do not need to underestimate the part that I talked about of Brobbey being butchering the defenders for the whole match and then Weghorst coming in. Because look at the stats. If I remember correctly, and this is by memory, the matches that Weghorst played from the first minute, besides penalties, what was his contribution?
Not so much, but let's reverse it. That means also that Brobbey was sometimes coming in late, and Brobbey didn't have the impact that Weghorst had.
Yeah, but Brobbey came in late. Usually we were ahead. Look at the stats. Usually we were ahead and winning the game. When Weghorst usually came in, we were behind and things needed to be forced. Okay. So what will the team do when you're ahead? They will pass more sideways. They will take their time. What will the team do when you're behind? They will try to feed as much balls as possible for the pinch hitter to finish it off. It's totally different situation.
All right, but if you eliminate that, which I agree with you on, if you look at the conversion rate of chances, there's no debate, right?
Wout is there 100%. I agree. But there's a lot of things to take into account. I'm not saying Brobbey is that top striker and everybody sees it wrong. I'm just saying there's more to it than only scoring the goals. And there are certain circumstances that we have to take into consideration.
Agreed. Jamie is saying, no, Pelle, it's a balance issue. You just miss too much balance and variety on the wings. This was touched upon by Ajax as well. Melania was saying Brobbey needs to get fitter and goals will come. Is there a fitness issue with Brobbey? You guys?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Not anymore, at least.
He's fitter than he's ever been last season, in my opinion. So
I think everyone is, to be honest. Okay, so maybe apart from Berghuis, he still has to get in shape. But well, it's also on Farioli that Brobbey isn't scoring. His preparation should include keeping Brobbey grounded. He's too eager to prove himself. Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, we touched multiple times upon the fact that he's a young player, and of course, as what can an external part actually influence? To what degree can they actually influence you if you're in the dumps, if you really want to, prove yourself? Some words of encouragement or, even some great people management skills ain't really going to adjust that. So I'm not sure that's going to be the one thing that either makes or breaks this season. I think, I don't know. It's really difficult to pinpoint this one.
But Farioli's expressed his confidence in Brobbey, and that should be more than enough. I think the rest is on Brobbey himself.
Yeah.
No, and I agree, but I disagree at the same time because, do not forget the weight that it has if you have a rotation in the squad. If he knows that he's not making his chances or he missed a few big ones, he gets 1 or 2 chances a game, and he knows if it doesn't go well, I'm being sucked at the 60th minute. He never gets to play the full 90 minutes, so the full confidence of the coach isn't there, and that is partly due to the rotation within the squad. The philosophy
that's by design. That's not by his performance in the match, because he was going to be substituted regardless of his contribution.
I disagree. If you score a goal in the first half and you're having a good game, the coach will not take you off as easily as if you missed a few and he wants to try a Weghorst, for example.
Okay, guys, I have to move on from this topic. So if there's any final comments, but then I have to still show a couple of feedback from us. Can I move on, or do you guys want to react still to this one? Okay. Papimento is saying, I feel Brobbey could go the Lukaku route. Some strikers have the finishing skill, and some just miss it completely. Okay.
Lukaku route is just moving about, just moving to different clubs in the Eredivisie. So no, I don't think you should go that route.
Jamie saying exactly Ajax, lack of balance and variety on the wings. Let's see. Murder Inc. is saying the teammates intentionally ignore passing to him, to Brobbey, to score. They know he will miss that goal-scoring chance. Okay. And then Melania was saying Weghorst is a super sub. No need to invent a wheel. Super sub. That's it. All right. Okay. So, guys, I want to move on because we have like half an hour left. I want to touch upon a couple of things. Let's start first because we didn't really have time to mention this in the first half of the stream with the other lads. I want to talk more about, we talked about Farioli, right? And we talked about how he has been dealing with the team, etc. But at the same time, and I think Kabir already mentioned this, we're asking basically Farioli to be a magician, sort of making the best out of this bunch of players that we have, which is very much similar to last season. Apart from the fact that we have Traore now, Klaassen, Weghorst, and Rugani. I think those are the changes that we have compared to last season. How much can we start looking at, at the technical people involved and trying to make life easier for Farioli going forward? We have a chance right now. I mean, in the summer, it didn't go the way we wanted. Now we have a January window. We know we have a situation with the financial, how we are financially. But what do you guys expect this January window to happen at least? And what are your expectations going forward? How quickly should this be resolved, the situation we're in, to make Farioli, do what he has to do? Because one thing that I've been struggling with also and thinking about a lot last few weeks is if the process of refreshing this team and getting this team's quality up doesn't go as quickly as we want, Farioli won't be here long enough to go all the way with us because he's already making strides and he will be picked up by other clubs before he has a chance to fully maximize his potential at Ajax. How do you guys see that?
I mean, that's the curse with modern football in general, right? So, I mean, that's not a unique issue to us, even though that we attract more attention from bigger clubs due to the fact that we tend to pick up both those types of coaches that's going to grow into legends and also the players. So that's not necessarily a unique issue for us, or rather for football. So we just have to adapt to that reality. What I'm more worried about is the fact that I don't feel like if we're in a process, right? So trying to rebuild after basically tearing down everything, reinventing everything from previous coaches before him. I would imagine that that's going to take some time, but I'm not entirely sure what amount of time he's going to get. I would say for the end of the season, if we don't end up top 3, I would imagine that that's going to start to show some tears in the seam. For the next season, if we don't at least compete for the top 1 spot, I think there's going to be some calls for his head in regard, because even if it's not justified, I would say that that's probably going to be an external pressure on.
Do you think the Ajax fans will look or become much more critical on Farioli, or do you think they're starting to look at Kroos also to back him up with the players that he needs? That's my question.
It's probably going to come to the coach, because even right now, I remember when things started going a little bit roughly around, a couple of matches ago. I remember some people in only the chat we're in started seeing like, okay, he needs to go. It's time for Farioli to go. Farioli out. I'm not entirely sure if all of it was sincere. Most probably wasn't. But I'm not entirely sure. As a club with the stature of Ajax, I'm not sure that you're given that luxury of time, which they surely needs. So he's probably going to get the brunt of the frustration, because that is usually the role of the coach, right, when it comes to the relationship with the fans. So even if it isn't justified, and I would say I give more rough hatred towards Johnny Sins, aka Kraus, I would say that's he's the one screwing us, really. No need to go into details. But yeah, so I would say that he is playing with time. He needs more time, but time is a scarce resource when you're in a position that Ajax is in.
Can I come back to your Kroos is now Johnny Sins? Is that what you said?
Officially, that happened in the past.
Wow.
Yeah, he has multiple positions, and most of them ends up screwing someone.
Oh my God.
So
That's
don't get too much.
All right, Ajax, you wanted to react? Go ahead.
Did I misunderstood your question? Weren't you asking, will Farioli get enough time if he's doing well? Will he not be poached by bigger clubs? Wasn't that the question, or did I misunderstood it?
No, that was a part of the question, but mostly it is looking at Kroos and looking at the technical management. I mean, how much time can we does it take, in your opinion, to at least get something going with this squad and to refresh and balance this squad to a level in which Farioli can really do what he has to do and bring Ajax to the level that we want?
You have to quantify it. Depends on what is doing well. So state what you think is doing well. Is it competing in Europe to the latter stages? What is doing well? So
doing well is playing more, being more attacking as Ajax, playing football, more attacking football, and also competing. Not only competing, but especially trying to win championships, to win the league, to go through. I mean, these are all things that we all expect from Ajax, to play Champions League, to perform in the Champions League.
In my opinion, you should expect that not even next season, but the season after that. It's a process, and we should stop being spoiled as Ajax fans. It takes time. We burned the house. Realize the position that you are in, and he's already been a magician with the things that he had at his disposal this half season. So we need to all chill a bit and give him some time. And considering Kroos, I think he will have his back. I think Kroos and Farioli will work quite well together, and he will make sure that he gets some time. You can have an opinion about him, about everything else, and maybe the transfer windows and sitting on multiple chairs with different roles. But I think he will have his back as a coach, the same way Overmars and Ten Hag work together. And do not forget, Ten Hag was at the helm of our club for 4.5 years. And I think one thing in his advantage, for our advantage as a club, is what Luke said about football coaches having a football history or not. I think it will grant us even a little bit more time, because within the way the football world works, big clubs will have hesitations about managers that do not have a past within the football world. It's just the way it is. So if he performs well at Ajax, it is something on his resume. But it's still not the same as a coach that also does a lot within the football world. So there will be more hesitation to maybe get him at the helm of a really, really big club in Europe. So that maybe works in our advantage. But all those things into consideration, we need to just chill and be happy with the progress that we made, because it's totally different than last season.
Yeah, Ajax, I feel like I've heard this before. What you're saying, it seems like a repetition. I don't know how to say it, but it feels like you're always trying to make us feel at ease and stuff. Oh wait, I think
we just need to remain calm, man. I'm not stressing at all.
So now you have it.
I had it somewhere. I know that you said it before.
But in my defense, that was in the preseason. It was in the preseason, and everybody was already chanting for this is not working. We need somebody else. Come on, man. We're not Manchester United here, like getting disposed of the manager after a certain kind of results.
This was 2023, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But look, Ajax, hold on. I just want to ask one thing. The thing is with what you're saying, I agree with you, and everybody can jump in on this one. The problem I have with this is I actually don't agree with one section, and the section is I think actually with how Farioli is performing, especially in Europe, because we have a chance to qualify as top 8 still. We have 2 games left. We can be top 8, and in Europa League, in European competition, they're always looking at coaches. And Farioli, looking at his profile, young coach, came into Ajax. Everybody will do their research and see how Ajax was and how he's performing. I don't think that we have enough time to give this whole process 3 years or something, because I don't think Farioli will sit it out until 3 years.
How long did it take? How long did it take for Slot to be poached away by a big team? How long? And Slot had a football career as a player, not the biggest one. He's a great coach. He's proving it at Liverpool. How many years? How long did it take for him to get poached?
What was it? 3 years?
Maybe even 4. Not sure. A long
3 years,
time.
I said 2 years, Feyenoord.
And we can all agree, probably at the stage that he's in, he's a better coach than Farioli is at this stage. Probably. Also, what he's showing at Liverpool. And he did have a player career, but not the biggest one. And it took a lot of time for one of the bigger clubs to take a chance on him.
Ajax, I think you're making. I agree to a certain extent, but not entirely, because nowadays there are clubs that really do analytics in terms of their recruitment, also in terms of coaching. Look at Brighton and look at Liverpool. Everybody was shocked when Liverpool came to Arne Slot, but that's purely because the whole recruitment is based on analytics, and they look for overperformance, like Mislintat used to say. If you look very objectively at Farioli, I want an answer from all of you. The last 6 months, looking at where we come from and with the squad that we have, would you say that Farioli has overperformed? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Exactly. And if he continues down that road, it will be only a matter of time, whether he has a history in football, yes or no, he will be picked up by another club.
That's inevitable.
Exactly. And what I'm saying with that is that
maybe it will take a little bit longer than, for example, I'm just giving you an example. What if Van Basten would be our coach and he didn't have any history, a big name, and he performed the same way as Farioli does? Who do you think will get poached earlier? A Farioli with his history, or, for example, a legend of football with the same accolades that he has? Who would have been picked up earlier?
Yeah, but I think the name. Yes, I agree. The name is important. I agree with you, but you have to have proven something in football. It's not only based on name.
Yeah. Juan, to quote you, to play devil's advocate here, the fact that it took off the amazing 18-19 season we had with Ten Hag, it still took 3 seasons for him to be picked up by a arguably big team. So at the same time, they actually might be in the stream. Yeah, sorry guys, not gonna burn those bridges. So in that regard, I do believe that we still have some time, so I wouldn't stress out about that particular fact.
Yeah, but that
I
about that,
completely
just
agree with
quickly-
you. The fact that we shouldn't be, reliant on the fact that he's not gonna, draw some attention, because obviously he's
No,
going
but
to.
I think we're deviating from my initial question. My initial question is, if he keeps performing like that with a below average squad, let me put it like this, for Ajax standards, if we don't fix that, if Cruz and co don't fix that, on time, there will not be enough time for Farioli to do what he is supposed to do, and then he will be gone. Then we have to bring in a new manager to still get us where we want to be. So we're not finishing what we want to do and what we want to achieve with Farioli. Because let's be honest, if a bigger club and a bigger league comes after 2 years for Farioli, he's not going to say, no, I'm still working on the plan with Ajax. Let's be honest about that.
But if it goes down this route, there won't be a Farioli anymore to lose, because there has to change something in the transfer market and in our financial status, because the transfers of this season were necessary, but they lack creativity. I mean, any technical director could have made the transfers of Klaassen and Weghorst. They're not very creative in terms of data or rough diamonds or stuff like that. And I think Farioli is very adamant that he needs and wants to develop better players, and that will be the reason he might stay longer, because he believes in the process he's in. But if he gets another Weghorst and another Klaassen, even though they're performing well, that's not going to fuel his flame to stay at Ajax longer, because it's not his philosophy of how he wants to build a plan or a team or a club. So I think that's the biggest problem, and not necessarily other clubs poaching them, because that's going to happen inevitably. And what will keep him here longer is being part of a rebuilding process that he believes in, is my opinion.
Clear.
Sorry, small point really quick. And you're going to laugh, haha, Knudsen. But when you look at him at Bodo, he hasn't left because they support him fully and they fully invest into what he's trying to do for football in that country, in Europe, and beating Roma 6-1 in Europe and things like that. It's made the club believe in him and give him full reins, the keys to the club. The reason why he hasn't gone, whatever reasons he hasn't gone for, but he's committed to staying and still trying to involve the football club and the football in that country. And I feel like it strengthens Yellen's argument, because you get supported, you get shown that you're valued by the club, you're more likely to stay, aren't you?
Yeah, but one can say that, is it only the vision of the club and the route that they want for him, or are the big clubs not coming for him? That's also something that we do not know. Because I know Ajax has had interest in him, but did a big Premier League club or La Liga club or maybe Serie A club or Liga club come for him?
Not at this time, probably, but when he does inevitably keep overperforming, they probably will.
So that's also something that you have to take into the equation. But Juan, I have to get some last thing off my chest, man.
Yeah, but let's keep it quick, guys. We have less than 15 minutes left. Let's go.
Quickly, because you bantered me with the short footage of a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. But really, I stand by my words, man. We need to chill as a fan base.
I know. That's why I played it.
If we look at the position that we were in last season, luckily we had a shift. We should count our blessings and not only talk about, but we're not playing the Ajax football. Wake up, guys. We have not been playing the Ajax football for a few years now. Even the last few months of Ten Hag, with him trying all different tactics at the end to save the season and win the championship. But what did we do? We're in second position now. We're quite doing well within the competition. We won some big games this season. We did quite well in Europe, although we are declining now last weeks. But compared to where we came from, we have so many blessings to count. But still, we hear he's not playing nice football. What does the fan base want? With a new coach from the beginning, we're in first spot. We win everything in Europe. We're not only playing defensively solid, but all the bad players we have certainly at one point is a team. Everybody is performing well. Robbie is scoring 30 goals. Hey, not only that, when Weghorst is coming in, he's also scoring a hat-trick. What do we want? We should be realistic.
Ajax.
That's what you just said. That's what we want.
Yeah, I just want to react to that, and Pelle, you can go after.
Absolutely, no worries.
Look, a couple of things. This is my opinion as a host. I know I'm burning bridges here, but still, What I want to say is that you guys all basically confirmed when I asked the question, is he overperforming? Is Farioli overperforming? I feel, in general, you cannot cheat the quality of your players. You cannot cheat and make it better than it is. So he has been overperforming, but how long will this continue? Because even at the end of last season, I mean, at the end of the 2024 season, so in December, November and stuff, after the break, the international break, you saw how difficult the matches became for us. You know, and whether it's fatigue or anything like that, you can say everything you want. But fact of the matter is, we're not winning games easily, you know? And how far can Farioli stretch this team even further? That's something that's a real concern. You have to be realistic about that.
Yes, but you have to also take into consideration that it could be the other way around. Maybe we think that he's overperforming, but what if the coaches before him were underperforming and he has the clarity to see, hey, this team has a certain cap, but the things that I can train is tactically making sure we're one of the fittest teams within the competition, and trying to make a team of a group cohesion within the team, a team of these group of players, trying to make everybody realize they are all part of the team and have their role to play.
Okay, hold on. So basically, hold on. I want a yes or no. Hold on. I want a yes or no answer from you right now. With this squad and this team, can Farioli achieve more with the players that have been playing the first 6 months?
Probably yes, because he has more time with them to implement his style of football and try to get the most out of it.
Okay, so Bas, Soutalo, Guy, Henderson, who else do we have? All the first 11 players. Broby can do better, of course. We already touched upon that. Traore, Gots, they can do even better than what we've seen the first 6 months.
I think they can, and also you have to take into consideration that now you will have a transfer window, and also 1 or 2 players can make a huge difference. Look back at the 94-95 team. What happened? And I'm not saying we can get the same quality kind of player, but what happened when Frank Rijkaard came back? Wasn't he the missing puzzle piece? Wasn't he one of the biggest changes within the team that make it all click?
I wouldn't say he was the biggest.
Why is Henderson playing better this season as a veteran? It's also part of the coaching, but it's coming out more and more now. So what if we have 1 or 2 more players that we are missing now? There will be more to get from these players if you have like a better balance within the team, and it can also be with 1 or 2 players.
We have no money.
Yeah, let me give Pelle a chance, and then I have to go to the comments, and then we have to finalize, guys. Let's go. Pelle, go ahead.
The only thing I really wanted to say that was not contradict, but rather add to what Ajax was saying there. And one of the things is just as once again, not a contradiction, but the fact that I myself get frustrated all the time with the fans concerning the fact that we seemingly have no patience, we have no willingness to rebuild, which is going to be a gradual process. However, one of the things I've come to realize is the fact that one thing that makes us, I wouldn't say unique, but the beautiful thing about the Ajax fan base is the fact that we have that that possibility to be, what would you say it like, not naive, I would say, we expect everything from a place, even though it might not be reasonable, that we're not willing to, lower the bar, that we're always going to be expecting the most out of any circumstance. So I think that's a beautiful thing about the fan base, but it's also, a double-edged sword in that regard. But I would say it's a nice thing to have, in which we're willing to be that, what would you say, the Ajax way of being arrogant, in which, we expect the most out of everything, even though it's not completely realistic. And I would say that's one of the fundamental things that, is actually in the ludicrous notion of the Ajax DNA. I would say that's one of the things, and we needn't lose that. The only thing we need to do is, manage our expectations, make sure that we give him the time, but at the same time, we don't lose that, that spark that gives us that little bit of, that edge. So that's the only thing I really wanted to contribute to that thing.
Then a 10-second footnote that I want to make clear. I'm talking about the fans, the people like us also, but the people that are on Twitter, the people that are on social media. I'm not talking about all the people that are also in the stadium, because I think as a fan base, we've been behind the team fully. So let me make that clear. I'm not talking about people chanting the team on within the stadium, because I've heard also in bad spells and in bad games, they're fully behind the team.
Yes.
I'm talking about what I see on Twitter. I'm talking what I'm seeing on social media. I'm talking what I'm seeing in the television shows with the pundits. That's what I'm talking about.
So that's why I said it wasn't a contradiction, but rather, yes, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, it's not Twitter anymore, man. Musk would be very.
Oh, sorry, X.
Yeah, he would be angry. Okay. Guys, quickly, a couple of things. Tijmen Food is saying, what position has biggest priority to get in your vision? Quickly, round, left wing, or another one?
Both wings.
Both wings. What about somebody
Creative midfielder
instead of Henderson? Because in my opinion, when Henderson doesn't play, you see the difference. You see a difference on the midfield, in my opinion.
But has Mansberg played yet?
Yeah, that's true. Mansberg has been injured.
We don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know what we're going to get with him. Yeah?
That's true.
We need some more depth on the wings, and I would opt for an attacking midfielder with a lot of creativity.
Okay, but
there's a
priority,
winger in
But number one priority would be for you guys?
the wings. There's a winger in Saudi that's quite Dutch winger. I think we should go and get him.
No. We're not going to do that again.
Okay, so quickly, I'm moving forward. Nickname is saying, latest news from Brazil is that Gaston Villa is getting loaned out by Johnny Sins to Fortaleza. All right.
I hope that sticks.
Yeah, the Johnny
Sins. I won't trade that.
We all know how great the loan deals of Johnny Sins are, with Frogs.
Yeah. and we know how good he is in Brazil. So
Yeah. Jim Beam Games is saying, I agree with Ajax. It's only been half a season. All right. We're just going further. Gary is saying we should judge the manager at the end of the next season. Loads of work to do. He's just getting started. Yeah, that's a good point. Absolutely. All right. What else? Danny is asking, should I give Ihatara a new chance with no risk contract? Guys, let me just finish the question first. You have to be okay. Never mind. I'm moving further.
Sorry, no.
Oh man, it was a good question, but no.
I tried. Juan, remember in the league, everyone wants to beat Ajax much more than Feyenoord and PSV. We're a big target, especially away from home. Yeah, that's true.
It's always been the case. That's not new.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, I wanna ask you in terms of just finalize this whole stream that has been a long one today. Your expectations for this season. Expectations. Actually, I want to make it twofold. What do you expect this January window to happen? What your minimum requirement for you, and what do you expect in terms of what we can achieve this season until the summer? I mean, until the end. And let me just throw something a little bit, just to make it a bit more spicy. Can we finish in front of PSV, maybe number one at the end of the season? Can we become champions? It's only 6 points, guys. Who wants to go first? Yeah, you go first this time.
Okay, cool. I saw you looking at me, and let me just.
I was eyeing you.
How am I going to phrase this? Am I hoping we're going to take over PSV? Yes. Is it very realistic? No, but there's always a chance. But if you would ask me now to bet my house on it, I won't. But that's okay. I think if we get second behind PSV, it's not the end of the world, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. But hopefully there's some Leicester miracle in our squad, and see if we can get there. January transfer window, I would see either some more depth in the squad, either on the sixth position on the wings, and or a very good prospect, which we can lean on for the next 1, 2, 3 years to be a part of this rebuild process, maybe even 2. And I'm not talking about splashing 20 million on Forbes, but like really maybe a lesser amount and having to grow them longer for like 2 years or even longer, based on the Ajax philosophy, because I feel like we're missing that the last few years, which we did have before. So I think that I would like to see that be more in line with the Ajax philosophy.
Yeah. Pelle, you?
Right. Will we win? Probably not. Can we win? Yes. And that's the beautiful thing as well, because now there is an opportunity to hope. And that's the one thing I've been looking forward to actually say that we might not win it, but we're actually in a position in which we can win it. And that is very, distant from just last season. So I'm very proud of the progress everyone's made in the team. With that said, what we probably need to do in this window, I would say probably what I expect is probably we're going to get a left winger. I wouldn't expect more than that, but I would want a left winger and a creative midfielder, and that I'm going to be happy camper with that one.
Luke?
I think that Champions League football is a must. It's football, football's football. If we suddenly go on a crazy run and PSV drop a bunch of points, then obviously there's a chance to win. But I think, like Ajax was saying about Ajax fans earlier, the expectations need to be managed. Stop being so spoiled. It's a process, so it can't be expectations to win anything this season, but slowly progress, get back into the Champions League, get that money, be able to improve the squad, and then move on from there. Champions League is what? It's top 3, is it?
Top 2 is directly. Number 3, you have to play qualifying.
Top 3 is a must, even if it's qualifying for Champions League. It's a must.
Yeah. Ajax?
We will not become champions. I think PSV is just too strong of a team versus lower tier teams within our competition. PSV has something about them that they always seem to cruise against the lower tier teams and score 3, 4, 5 goals, usually also early on in the game. So either the teams have not the same mentality as against Ajax, or they have a surplus of quality there. So I think with that taking into consideration that we also still have to play an away game at their stadium, I think it will be a difficult situation for us to be first this season. But I'm very happy if we can finish second, and I'm aiming for the second place. We'll be very surprised if we would manage to become champions. That must mean that there will be a crisis in Eindhoven, because something should happen there for us to have a chance to poach it, because we're not stable enough ourselves to be cruising against the lower tier teams yet. So that's taking into consideration. I think we will be second, and that will be a top place to finish, considering where we're coming from. The signings, I would opt for a creative midfielder. And I would opt for some more depth on the wing position. So that is something that is necessary. Also, for future purposes, hopefully we can extend Rensch's contract, or maybe also look at that position already, because Guy isn't suitable for being a right back, in my opinion, and Rensch is walking out of his contract at the end of the season. So either we now anticipate already, or we make it a top priority for us in the next transfer break.
Okay, I have some fire questions. Just yes or no, please. I will start with Pelle, then Ajax, Jellen, Luke. Please, just yes or no, okay? All right, so we will end up top 2 this season in the league.
Yes.
Yes.
Jellen?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't know the order. Yes.
No problem.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't mention the war.
We will beat, guys, I have to move on. Sorry. We will beat. Sorry?
What's your prediction? And you?
No. I'm just asking you guys. I have to move forward, guys, because I have a few questions I want to ask.
Deflect.
Yeah. Okay. We will beat AZ in the KNVB Cup next week.
Who starts?
Pelle, you're first still.
Oh, again. Oh, yes.
Same order. Let's go.
Okay.
Yes or no? Pelle?
I said yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Yes.
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 All right. For the right back position, as a backup to Guy and Rensch, we must consider Fosu Mensah, who's training right now with Young Ajax.
Oh fuck! I start with this one. Yeah. Yes.
Ajax.
If we can get another one, yes.
Jellen.
No.
Luke.
Yes.
All right. Final question. We will finish top 8 in the Europa League. Pelle.
Group stage?
Group stage, yeah.
Group stage. I'm gonna be positive today. Yes.
We still have RTS, right?
Yes, and a Turkish team.
Galatasaray at home.
Turkish team at home. Turkish team at home, right?
Outside home, yeah.
Yeah, so I've heard Sahbi always say Turkish teams when playing away from home. I know you're watching Sahbi; they're not that great, so I'm going for top 8.
All right, Jellen.
Yes, no. Yes, okay, let's stay positive. Yes.
Yeah.
And yes for me.
Yes. All right. Any final words before we end the stream from
What a
anyone?
positive way to end to exit.
Anything you want to say?
See you guys in the next reunion in 2026.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a
point.
ponytail the next stream.
Yeah. The next.
Yeah.
This has been the most hyped reunion since Oasis. So well done, guys. You've done great.
All right, guys.
No,
I want to.
no last question, Juan. Like ended.
I already asked a few questions, so
Yeah,
I'm done.
like, you always have a backup last question, so not.
No, I just want people to let us know, and maybe after the stream, for the ones that watched, what you guys thought of the reunion talk. Any feedback is welcome. Thank you all for joining as well. It's more than we expected after being absent for more than 6 months. Also, thank you guys, of course, and also the other panels that were here before you. It's been quite a challenge to get this going, but everybody was really positive and everybody wants to make it happen. So the reunion, I think, was great to do together. I always enjoy doing it with you guys. Let's see what the future brings. No promises, nothing. But it was a blast, and let's hope Ajax does very well in the second half of the season.
And also a big thank you to Juan also for being for hosting this session for over 2.5 hours. It's not easy to do, even rusty and stuff, you know. But still coming up with great questions and being sharp until the last second of the stream. So let's not overlook his part in this all. So also thank you to you, Juan.
Thank you.
Not just the host. You're
I
also
also want to say, right, you look like you've just been running for like 40 days, 40 nights. You look so good in terms of
You look like
everything
you
is slimmed down, man.
and stuff, man.
You know, I'll be honest. I lost 22.5 kilos last year, and the reason for that is when I saw the players play last season, I thought maybe I have a chance, so I started training.
It's because you was running to the massage table. That's what it was.
Okay, let's stop right
running.
here. Let's stop right here. That's the inside joke, which is below the belt, to be honest.
Maybe Johnny Sims has some recommendations for you.
Maybe I should call him. All right, guys,
Yes.
thank you very much. Have a nice evening, and RKC is next. Let's hope for the best.
Let's
Bye,
go.
guys.
Yes.
Take care.
See you. Bye-bye.